The right to offend is not some pesky little part of freedom of speech that we have to put up with. It is the heart and soul and lungs of freedom of speech. It is the coursing lifeblood of human progress. It is the instigator of liberty and modernity and science and understanding. What a laughing stock today's student leaders are, that they can so casually dismiss the right to be offensive without realizing that their lovely, enlightened lives are the gift of individuals who gave offense. Offensiveness is not just something we have to begrudgingly accept. Offensiveness is the motor of human progress.
Now broadcasting from the Right to Offend Media Studios in sunny South Florida, bringing you the latest in politics, current events, art, and pop culture. This is the Whitfield Report live with Sam Whitfield.
But giving offense is good. In fact, it's essential.
Alrighty, well, good evening, ladies and
I was
gentlemen.
going to see how long you would go muted and just nod along like I was listening. But you got it real quick that time. Good job.
Yeah, I did. I manually muted the mic that time, but
The one fucking time that I'm willing to just let you go muted as long as possible, nailed it.
yeah.
Every other time you'll go on, and I'm like, Sam, sorry. Welcome to the Whitfield Report.
Welcome to the Whitfield Report, where we're on time.
And still crippled.
Well,
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
I mean, I've got bad news for you, buddy. You and I are crippled for life.
40 years now, damn it. 41.
Almost,
Hold
almost.
on. I mean, you're assuming.
Well,
What if he
maybe.
wakes up? What if he wakes up tomorrow just fine?
It would be a Christmas motherfucking miracle.
Yeah.
I honestly would not.
I would like to rule that out because it would be cool.
If that were to happen, I'd be happy for more. Not gonna lie. So,
I wish I woke up and was okay tomorrow morning, man. That would be nice.
That's
Well-
the one thing I will say. We joke about us being crippled, but at least neither of us are mentally crippled.
Yeah.
oh yeah, unlike
I
I'm
more
all-
meant that I'm old and everything hurts, but yeah, that too.
I am also older and everything hurts, but that's beside the point.
Fair enough.
I'm no longer I'm at the point where I'm no longer young, but I'm not old either.
Shut up, Sam.
And my hip sometimes hurts. But Max is also married to the beautiful Maxine Sand, so life can't be that bad. Can it?
You're just trying to kiss multiple asses at the same time now.
You know,
I see your game.
maybe I am, but I'm not wrong either.
And the question is, did it work?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. What was the goal? To forget what the hell we were talking about? Mission accomplished.
Well, no, because we have multiple things to talk about.
Things happened this week, Sam? It's been 2 weeks, actually, hasn't it?
Well, yeah.
Well, except for that we went off for like 6 hours on the sandwich makers.
a lot,
And definitely a lot of people saw that already.
and that was super fun, by the way. Check that out. Big shout out. Well, part of the reason why we weren't on last week was I actually had Eric Bishop on the Wednesday show because his book Babylon Will Rise launched. So big shout out to him. I guess like December in the indie author scene is kind of like usually a dead month, but he's selling books. So
which is why you would want to release in December and be the one guy, seems like a smart play on his part. It's paying off, and glad to hear that. I obviously enjoyed his previous books, so yeah, you guys seem to have a lot of fun, and now we're back. So yes, there wasn't us last week, but there was a show last week, and if you missed it, check it out because it was actually pretty good.
And also, other news, I was on A Tale of Two Scribes last Monday. 40,000 views. I would have been happy if we got 50 because it was an honor to be on his show. But I'm really, once again, honored that he had me on his show. If you haven't subscribed to the Spear Talk Network, go and check that out at Tale of Two Scribes. It was awesome to be on Eric's show last week, and again, thanks to everyone who subscribed to this show as a result of that, and welcome to the Whitfield Report crew now and Right to Offend Media. With that all being said, ladies and gentlemen, I actually have a book of my own to unbox. Today. So I'm not going to show the address here, but just to, prove.
Don't dox yourself there, Sammy.
Here's the box.
Oh, I saw it. He lives in Florida.
And, everyone knows that, but,
it's in the intro. Yeah, I would hope. It's like Sam didn't realize now for multiple years his intro has just doxed him.
Well,
it says his full name too. It's wild.
Yeah. But anyway, so I got a package from Amazon today.
Is the peanuts nice at least, or?
I got the they covered my item in this brown.
Oh, that's the very high tech.
That's also how they covered my book as well, Sammy.
Yeah,
so
that high tech crumpled up piece of fucking cardboard paper that they use is really, that's the pinnacle of packaging.
Well, it really protected my mom's Christmas gift this year, guys, and
well, that's good.
What did I get my mom for Christmas? And don't worry, she doesn't listen to the podcast, so she's not gonna know until.
She's gonna watch this one just by coincidence, Sam. You just jinxed yourself.
Yeah, no, knowing her too, this would be the one episode where she watches.
Just a random off chance, she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna watch tonight."
But ladies and gentlemen, we announced. I announced this on A Tale of Two Scribes last week, and ladies and gentlemen, it is here. The compilation that everyone was requesting, The Shadows of Deception, Volume 1, first 3 books in the trilogy, a John Ryder saga. It is officially now here in hardcover format. So you can, collect all 3 volumes, all 3 novellas in one, plus a bonus short story at the beginning. And, unlike Mortheous
exclusive bonus content.
Unlike Mortheous's copy, it seems like my back cover was also not taken off the rack immediately after printing, so that was good. But so all 3 books are here, and including a bonus short story, Operation Nighthawk, here at the beginning. And I'm gonna autograph that for my mom, so she can get it all. And this is the first time that I've actually seen this. So folks, some of you were requesting for a compilation of this series. Max. So
Well,
you know?
I mean, to be fair, the idea was obvious, right? You were writing 3 books that were all shorter, on the shorter side, as novellas tend to be. So why not make one mega book? And you one-upped me with a bonus story.
Yeah, well, hardcover copy, you got to give those folks something a little extra.
True.
So,
And so this is your second hardcover this year as well. And what is it? Your 4th actual book publication this year? It's 3rd or 4th.
I mean,
Maybe
technically,
even 5th.
technically the 4th, I would say. It's weird because like I've only written like 3 total. I'm working on the 4th in the series right now. Like, this was the easiest one because like I didn't have to write anything. I just had to go into Atticus and
Sure, but that's why it's cool that there's a hardcover compilation, right? Like, it maybe not the hardest thing, but it makes it a lot easier for people who are just jumping in or whatever.
Yeah.
And also, the hardcovers always just make a nice like shelf piece, especially one that you wrote or one that a friend wrote or something like that is always nice to have on your shelf.
Yeah, it is nice. And you get 3 books for the price of 2. One of the
I will say, Sammy, I do like the heft of the book.
Yeah, that was another thing too. I know that some people like the 5x8, paperback cover, and if that's for you, all 3 paperbacks are still available. I wanted to do this exclusively as a hardcover because I do want the other paperbacks to still sell. So if you're into paperbacks, buy all 3, and then I guess you can buy the short story as an ebook. But
book people might even do that. That's the thing, is if you like books, you'll collect books. So
yeah,
you're kind of preaching to the choir in that. But hey, if you're not a collector and you just want the story, this is the best edition for you.
Yeah.
Or to a friend who has no idea about any of it, this is everything they need to know. It's basically the whole series so far in one handy hardcover.
Yeah, I'm working on book 4 right now. Things are a lot clearer now, at least somewhat. Although current events make things ever more interesting. It's a little scary when reality is stranger than fiction, but that's the way the world goes, it seems. So anyway, you can order that. You can order Shadows of Deception Volume 1 and Blood Ties Volume 1 here as well. Both available in hardcover.
Stunning full color hardcovers.
And thanks to everyone who has supported both books. And
speaking of reality being stranger than fiction, Sam, did you hear about there was a major assassination this week?
Oh yeah, major assassinations. I actually wanted to talk about that because Mort and I and Max, we've all talked about how our bad experiences with the healthcare system, and me in particular, like I actually have bad experiences with United Healthcare specifically, which I can get into. But I just want to say at the outset that it does disturb me a bit how many people are praising this Luigi Mangione guy, because as much as some of us might want to wrangle the neck of our healthcare providers, there's, as I said on X earlier, there's a difference between fantasizing about murder and actually, carrying it out. And
also, like I said on Twitter earlier, us Italians do not claim this guy.
No, absolutely not. This guy is just a cold-blooded murderer, and he's not a He's not a
This guy
martyr.
is just American Psycho Green Edition. That's what he is. So he is a
Yeah.
rich, spoiled 1%er kid who went through multiple different colleges, as I understand it. He did master's degrees and everything else. He was in the top 1% of the economic bracket his entire life and has never struggled a day. And he thinks, as many of these people do, because, you know, the world revolves around them, that he's going to change and save the world from some existential threat in his head, which is bad healthcare, right? From these insurance companies or insurance companies bullying people around. So in his mind, he's painted himself as like the anti-hero of his story. But the reality is he's a spoiled rich kid that shot a father to death.
Yes.
In cold blood.
Who actually went into the father who he shot actually did grow up in like a working class, family. And
yeah. It's literally the case of like the working class guy who makes it to the upper crust, and then the upper crust delinquent child who thinks he's better and murders them in cold blood. It's wild to me.
Yeah. And so look, everyone's getting I find it really interesting because everyone's getting lost and caught up in this whole debate about the American healthcare system and how much it sucks, which, to be clear, we've said on this show multiple times that we're 100% right there. I've talked about how I've had to dance around with, healthcare to get a new, a wheelchair, and they've still denied me. Max has talked about, problems with his father in law, and even like trying to get new glasses. None of us have debated that healthcare is shit in this country, but it doesn't justify cold-blooded murder.
Not only does it not justify it, but what does this accomplish? Like, is this going to change anything? What is he like? This kid thinks it is, right? Obviously, that's why he did it. But like realistically, people are going to talk about it for a couple weeks. They're going to slot a new CEO in and maybe change security policies. But if you think they're going to change any of their insurance policies, you got to be out of your fucking mind. Most of that's defined by law. They don't even get to decide it.
Yeah. Most of what this kid is, complaining out is actually having to do with Obamacare and the laws that were set.
Yeah, it's literally we're all complaining about this healthcare system, and the Democrats have managed to frame it like it's the Republicans' fault, but it's their system. It's called Obamacare. It was originally written by fucking Ted Kennedy. It couldn't be more of a Democrat program, and it was passed by exactly enough Democrat votes to get it passed and not one Republican vote. That's the healthcare system that we suffer from almost well over a decade later. Right? And they all want to blame Republicans for it. Well, that's kind of silly, isn't it? And then this guy thinks, what, shooting a CEO is going to change anything? Again, the Obamacare stuff, all government policy, not insurance company policy. Sam, the insurance companies have not benefited nearly as much from Obamacare as people think. Is the big pharmaceutical industry that got the most bulk. Obviously, insurance, I'm not saying they haven't benefited,
right?
But they've also had to change their entire structure to not run afoul of this law, which has cost them lots of money. And it took them quite a bit of time actually to adjust it first. If you look at their, like the major insurance companies financially, look at their stock tickers and shit. When Obamacare first hit, all of them lost money, all of them, right? And then later on, they were able to recoup it, but they lost money because they had to add new departments. They had to digitize everything. They had to do this. They had to do that. Obamacare wasn't their friend either. The only people who Obamacare really, really benefited was the pharmaceutical companies, the drug manufacturers, the people that manufacture personal protective equipment, the people that manufacture medical supplies. Those are the only people, including the average citizen, who really benefit from Obamacare.
Right.
And then the other group that benefits from Obamacare, to be fair, are people that are at the absolute bottom end of the poverty spectrum, beneath the poverty line, that get insurance. Other than that, the vast majority of Americans have no benefit to Obamacare whatsoever. It's only negative.
Right. And even that, like, still would not.
It's funny because that's how the Obama version of Democrats were, right? Is they were the party of the ultra rich and the ultra poor, and then they made a policy that only benefited the ultra rich and the ultra poor.
Yeah.
Fun fact, the Democrats are no longer the party of the ultra poor, so they're just the ultra rich now. Because the ultra poor tended to vote for Trump this time, so.
Yeah, and I will say this, like, since we're already politicized, since other people are already politicizing this whole thing, Trump actually went out and very wisely said, well, if this guy is really upset about healthcare, then maybe it's time that Congress actually listen to me on my proposal for Trump care and how to fix it.
Well, let's not forget that again, the Democrats seem to want to blame somebody but themselves, and there is somebody else to blame.
They don't want to blame themselves.
Well, but there is somebody else to blame this time, and it's the Republicans, but not Trump. Trump, in his first term, in his first act, was like, "Okay, Congress, we need to repeal and replace Obamacare." Sam remembers this because I bet you he was pulling his fucking hair out the whole time, right? And because you were covering it every week, so I assume it was fucking probably drive you crazy. This was what, almost 8 years ago now?
Yeah.
So, yes, he tried to get some other plan for it. He said, literally, offer me anything, and they literally could not pass anything. That's on them because they wanted to, and let's be real. The reason for that was that the neoconservatives, the Bush type people, wanted to sabotage his presidency. So they purposely went against it, and they said, no, we're keeping Obamacare. And what was Trump's final word on the matter? Do you remember, Sam?
Well, from what I remember, his whole thing was, okay, well, we'll try and make Obamacare the best possible.
Not even. He said, we're going to do with what we got, okay?
Right.
I'm going to get rid of the mandate because the mandate is the part that's fucking the poor people. And then this system's going to bankrupt itself, and we're just going to have to fix it then. That's what he said. And he said, Obamacare, if you don't want to change it, is going to bankrupt itself and be awful for everybody, and then maybe you will consider changing it. That's what he said.
Which he was right, because it
and
has.
Then here we are, people are shooting insurance company CEOs, so clearly it hasn't gotten any better. If I say that the guy's motivations, I don't think were genuine. I think he wanted to perceive himself as a hero rather than he thought he was doing anything good.
Yeah, well,
but assume he was. Assume that's what he was actually mad about. Then it would be an indication that the system has not improved. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sam.
And so, as far as United Healthcare itself, because I said I would talk about this, United Healthcare has a 34% denial rate compared to the others that are like 16%.
And that's why they're the number one insurance company, let's be real, because they deny more people than everybody else.
Yeah. Now, when I had to deal with them, it was to try and get like a manual wheelchair, and right. I had to jump through hoop after hoop.
Ironic, considering that you're in a wheelchair, that they're going to make you jump through hoops, but that sounds about right.
Yeah, and
they're like, we're going to set this one on fire, Sam. Go on.
And I will say this, that their customer service is fucking atrocious. Not just for me, but like when my mom was going through her cancer treatments, they denied her, and she had stage 1. They denied her because she was only stage 1, and she wasn't sick enough for them to cover her.
Right. You got to be terminal to even get our attention.
So thank God she had a health savings account through her work.
Hey, Sam, remember when Obama said that there would be no rationing under his plan?
There wouldn't
be any death panels that would decide whether you get health care or not. Didn't you remember he promised that? Yeah. Do we have that? Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
of course we have that.
I remember that, and all I can say is thank goodness for my mom having a health savings account.
Right, yeah. Because
and all-
otherwise it would have just been, oh, well, go screw yourself until you get sick enough, and then we're going to hope that we can maybe pull you back from the brink. And there's a reason for that, Sam, because, again, this was all written to benefit the pharmaceutical companies, and they make the most money off your mom if she gets to the point where she needs chemo.
Well, you want to know what
They would rather. This is the crazy part, Sam. They would rather have a person like your mom or somebody with a stage 1 cancer get to the point where you get chemo than they would to take care of the problem during stage 1 immediately. That it's almost universal.
So
Not the doctors, by the way, the insurance companies. Let's be very clear about that. It's in insurance companies, not doctors, that are making those decisions.
Agreed. No, and her oncologist was actually great. Shout out to him. But basically, the insurance company was only going to do one thing for her at the time, which was literally, so she had a very small tumor in her upper right lung. The only thing that the insurance company was able to cover really was to literally remove the upper half of her lung, which wasn't even needed, and instead, so she would have essentially lost a lung.
Yeah, because I don't think people understand how they price out surgeries like this. Because for example, when you're dealing with a surgery, you're coming at it from the perspective of a patient, right? And they just tell you the money number that it costs, and you kind of just most people don't really think about it, but they actually charge more in a case like that. Hacking out a whole like half of a lung is better than the targeted surgery to take it out for them, because the targeted surgery literally takes more time, and that's more money. It's simple. It's the surgeon's time is more, so we want to do the hack job essentially.
Yeah,
the hack job.
They always lean towards the hack job, because the hack job just costs less money in surgery fee.
Yeah,
for better or worse. And look, you could say, well, then surgeons charge too much. That's an argument I hear from the leftists. But they are like one of the most highly specialized groups of people on earth too. So
yeah.
It's a tough call in that regard, but from the insurance company, that's thinking about the whole pricing, right? But the insurance company, they don't give a fuck how the price occurs. They're looking at 2 surgeries, one of which is a lot cheaper than the other, one of which has a higher risk than the other, and so they're going to go with the one that's cheaper. Period. And high and lower risk generally. Actually, sadly to say, that take half your lung rather than micro target a tumor is generally more a lower risk procedure.
Yeah.
And that's how they make those kind of determinations. And then they're like, oh well, you're not really sick enough for chemo, so we're just going to offer you the hack surgery and maybe some like painkillers or something.
Well,
or in some states they'll tell you to go get pot. You got cancer, just go get some pot. It won't make you feel better, really, but it'll make you happier about the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, honestly, like I said, I'm glad that she had a health savings account so that she was able, and also
to get the proper treatment instead of the cheapest treatment. Yeah, that's definitely a big win for her.
And so, but I asked her about this whole thing too, and her immediate response was, what the hell does this CEO's murder have anything to do with, the cost of healthcare? And honestly, she's right. It doesn't have anything to do. So again, people are trying to make this, rich, spoiled asshole.
Insurance companies don't set the cost. I think that's an important fact of this whole discussion. They're merely reactive to it in a way that's trying to make the most profit off of offering insurance that they're now mandated by law to offer in certain ways. The insurance companies are not the ultimate devil of the whole thing. And if you want to look at one more than the other, I would argue that the real bad guys in healthcare in America are one, Congress, first and foremost, because they're the ones that pass these laws and keep them that way. And then two, Big Pharma, who lobbies for these laws specifically.
Yeah.
Insurance companies lobby too, no doubt, but they don't set the cost. And the reason that they have to deny people and can deny people is all tied to Obamacare. It's out of their hands.
Yeah. So
Thanks, Obama.
Thanks,
so
Obama.
yeah, thanks, Obama. So to be clear, under Luigi Mangione's logic, and under the logic of the people who support him, Obama should then be ixnayed from the picture if we're going to go through here.
I mean, the thing is because we're assuming that there's some sense behind it because other people feel like there is.
Yeah,
but I don't believe so.
No, I don't.
This guy is a narcissist, right? Who wanted to be famous, and he's painted himself as some kind of anti-hero martyr to the left because he's a leftist himself, obviously.
Right.
And it really there is no sense to his plan because, like, on the left, it's a good plan. On the left, they're like, "Oh, you killed a rich guy." Right. Yeah. They're supportive of, or at least some of them are supportive of that. And just because he was a CEO or a rich guy or whatever, they think, yeah, that'll show him.
Rich guy killed another rich guy. Awesome.
Yeah.
But it's also this lazy revolution bullshit that they've always done where it's like, yeah, we need a complete revolution in society. How are you going to do that? Terrorism. Okay, yeah, that'll do.
No, but it's it again.
Can we just call it like it is? This was an act of terrorism because it was politically motivated to do violence. Period. Yeah. This is an act of terrorism.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though, Max. Like I'm not saying anything should happen to Obama or any of these.
No, I get you. I just wanted to point out that like we were going along with the idea, like a lot of the left is, that there was some level of rationale behind it. But I think the only thing he was concerned with was how he was perceived. I think he wanted to make himself a martyr. He didn't want to do it like the traditional way a lot of them do, where he didn't want to go like Columbine, right? But he wanted to do violence and wanted to be, seen as a hero for it. And it's completely driven by narcissism, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, totally. Well,
there might be. I mean, because this has been discussed that there might be some bad blood between his family and whatever that might have attributed it to being partially a revenge motivated thing. But even then, like it's no, like there's just no there's no logic to this. This is, I'm gonna kill rich guy because rich guys are bad.
Yeah, even though I am also a rich guy.
Even though I've probably drank more of the trough of fucking privilege than the man I killed ever did in his whole life, even though he's a CEO, he's still the bad guy. I'm the good guy. This is like one of the most privileged fucking Zoomers in America trying to convince you that he's the underdog.
One thing that I saw like circulated online earlier this week about him is, he did this because his mom was denied healthcare by United. Now that's assuming that like, he was some working class stiff. But again, as it's been revealed, like both his parents are loaded. I mean, I don't.
They are in the top 1%. Yes.
Yeah, I don't ever want to make assumptions, but I do think in this case it's pretty safe to assume that like that any illness that his parents had and any illness that his mother had, they could have paid for out of pocket, unlike a lot of other families.
And the thing is other families who actually go through this end up just doing that and fucking they don't kill anybody.
Right.
This happens to tons of people. every fucking day in this country, and that's not a good thing. But it's kind of like when they were blaming video games for the mass shooting problem. It's like, well, but millions of people play those video games, so it can't possibly be that video game is a one-to-one transaction where it turns you into a killer. Just like this, getting rejected by insurance clearly does not make you a killer.
Yeah.
He made a choice. He made a series of choices. I'm surprised they're only charging this guy with second-degree murder. This is the most first-degree fucking thing I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. Well, not just that, but it's also like he did this in broad fucking daylight, too, if I'm not.
Broad daylight. He pre-planned it. Yep. He built a ghost gun to do it. He had a silencer. This is as first-degree, premeditated, cold-blooded murder as I've ever seen. And I'm just in shock that a DA would even suggest to start with second-degree murder.
But because a rich guy, it's second-degree, not first.
Yeah, that's right. And that's the thing. And this is what a lot of people... The people who are cheering him on, actually, ironically, in a lot of cases, feel like this alienation that rich people can get away with anything. And he was trying to present himself as he was standing up against the rich people. And then that same fucking bullshit corruption that keeps all the rest of us down is going to be used to benefit this little asshole so that he gets off on a lesser fucking charge because he's rich. Just like Hunter Biden. Let me tell you something. If you were anybody else, and you got caught on video with crack and hookers and all that, and especially if you were black, you're in jail. Period.
For a long ass time.
Yeah. For a long time. If you're a minority in this country and you're on video with crack and hookers, you're fucked. If you're a white guy, you're probably fucked, unless you're fucking Hunter Biden. And it's this two-tier justice system and this two-tier economic system that people are really feeling and reacting to. And this guy sees that and says, yes, now I can pretend to be a superhero. It'll be all about me and how I saved everybody. But what are you going to accomplish by killing this man? Again, I don't understand. Does he think they're not going to make another CEO? Does he think they're going to say, oh, you know what? We're out the insurance game now. That's their business. That's all they do.
He probably thinks that, like, he's probably one of these dumb Zoomers who thinks that, like, the CEO actually made that thinks that the CEO actually, like, made the policy that is, like, denying. Again,
I don't even think he put that much thought. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't think he put any thought into it, really.
Right. No, I agree with you, but I'm saying that, like, if you're going for, like, the most charitable, like, if you're going for the most charitable argument, like, for him, he's dumb, and he probably thinks that the CEO, made some bad policy, which, again, I agree with you. I don't think he actually had a good understanding of even what was going on. I think he's just, I can be a rich white savior complex.
Oh, it's not just rich guy, it's insurance guy. That's poor people hate insurance guys. Yeah, that's what he was thinking.
Yeah.
Dumb leftist bullshit results in a terrorist. And yeah, then there's the whole other side of this, Sam, is if you've seen this, there's a whole bunch of leftist women that like thirst over this guy now. They're really into him. They think he's hot.
Yeah, well, I've seen all the memes of him, like, running with, like, his shirt off, or stuff like that. And
this is the kind of fucking stuff that women do that makes people think, you know what, maybe we should repeal the 19th Amendment.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying we should, chat. I'm just saying this guy, woman sees terrorists and is like, damn, I'd like to have his babies.
Yeah.
Women, what the fuck? They did this with the fucking Sarnav guy too, the Boston bomber.
Yeah, these are the same types of women who were like, some of them at least, maybe not all of them, but definitely some of them were also like crying at, like, the 4B movement or whatever, just like, mere weeks ago. They were going on sex strikes like 4 weeks ago, and all of a sudden there's like, oh, my pussy's wet for
that
this.
That explains why they're so thirsty for him, really.
I will never understand women that get wet by criminals.
Yeah, well, bad boy, bad boy more.
No, you don't understand more.
There's bad boy, and then there's criminal behind bars that's never getting the fuck out.
Yeah, then there's psycho killer. Right, that's a whole
Well,
different level. But hey,
yeah,
you don't understand more. The bad boys are obviously the hottest ones, and you can fix him.
You can never fix him ever.
No. She's gonna fix you. Don't you worry. She's gonna fix him. She'll tell you all about it.
Yeah.
He's a sensitive soul underneath, don't you know?
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
That's the thing. They say this. They were saying that about fucking Dahmer. I'm like, are you fucking? Yeah. They're a sensitive soul while he's drilling into a skull and pouring his fucking sulfuric acid into it, and then eating the corpse.
Oh,
He's a sensitive fucking guy. That Dahmer. Also, he was gay, so it's funny that all these women fucking thirst after this gay guy.
well, that actually happens more than
But we can turn him straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can make him not a pedophilic cannibal. Let's go.
Yeah, well, how many women thirsted after Diddy? Ooh, too soon? No, I don't think.
Never
There are
too
still
soon.
women
I
thirsting
don't-
after Diddy, Sam.
That's true. They are. Not to like do a break too much, but we actually, I did have a chance to talk to John Guarnieri of Spear Talk, and great guy. Honored to have him on. That's going to be a terrific episode of the Whitfield Report on Monday, so be sure to tune in for that. I bring him up in this context because John said something that's been stuck in my head the day, which is we never make the people who should be famous. We always make the people who are terrible people and generally shouldn't be famous. And
that's partly the industries themselves, but it's partly the masses. Yeah. Like it's partly our own fault, because we love to look at these train wrecks, and so we prop them up in that way. He's not wrong.
Yeah, that's
There's rare occasions where it's not true, where like the good guy gets famous, but it's pretty rare.
Yeah, and he said he's been fortunate enough to work with some really good ones, but he also said that he has to keep his mouth shut for a fair amount of his security jobs too, which I don't blame him either. So just kind
but then you can tell, like I've said this before, like about celebrities in particular, where you get these motherfuckers and they're on there and they're like moral preaching to people about very specific things. Jack Murphy. Yeah. I mentioned him in a video I made on this exact topic. He was like, I'm the best Christian. You guys all got to be good Christians like me. I'm literally the best Christian. In fact, if you don't agree with me, you're un-American and all this stuff. Right. And then like, he gets caught doing, gay porn and all of these other things, very unwholesome behaviors. And my point is that the average like working class dude who like works 40 hours a week, maybe some overtime, pays his bills, drinks a beer on a Friday night and watches a football game is way more moral than most of these people trying to tell you how to live your life virtuously on the internet. Like the average dude who drinks a 6-pack a week is way like he doesn't cheat on his wife. He doesn't make porn on the internet. He's not, you know what I mean? Like all of these, or he's not hitting on underage girls. That's a big one with all these celebs, right?
Yeah, or if you're Nick Fuentes, like underage guys, allegedly.
Yeah. Average Joe 6-pack guy though, he ain't telling nobody how to live, but he probably has a better understanding of how to live than all the people that want to tell him how to live, right?
Average Joe 6-pack guy is just leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah. average Joe six-pack guy might make a crass, dirty joke, but he's not actually groping women while virtue signaling.
The only woman he's groping is typically his wife.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and you know, like you said, he might make some off-color jokes. He might not be politically correct. But like, if you look at the totality of him as a person and try and judge where he falls morally, oftentimes it's fairly good. And then these people who want to portray themselves as some kind of big, more virtuous thing than they are, you know. My favorite, you know, because you know me, I'm a hip hop guy, right? Is kind of LL Cool J is a classic story where in the 80s and 90s, one of the things notable about him that he would push is that he was drug free. But he was smoking weed the whole time, so he wasn't exactly as drug free as his fucking image would present, right? And then when he got caught smoking weed, he looked worse than Eazy-E, right? Who was like, yeah, I smoked blunts since I was a fucking teenager. What do you do? Yeah, of course I smoked blunts. Or Snoop Dogg or something like that, right?
Yeah.
They're doing the same thing, but the part that makes one of them wrong is that he's a fucking hypocrite about it.
You know what's funny?
Which, to be fair, he apologized and he kind of toned it down and everything in the 90s. So this is an old example, but
right. Well, you know what's funny too, and I would be curious to actually talk to Penn, one of the sandwich makers out this is you know, Hayden Christensen, who played Luke Skywalker in the prequels. He's gotten shit on mercilessly from, you know, some of the fans, unfairly, I think, for, you know, his portrayal of Anakin. But if you actually look at him, you know, as a person, like he doesn't really get into, you know, controversy. Really, he hasn't actually had like a public, you know, appearance in years. But everyone has said that, like on this tour.
No, I know. I was gonna say I know he's been doing the tour because they recently a couple of people just got like autographs from him or pictures from him.
Right.
So. Yeah, he's come back out to do this tour now. Yeah, that's cool.
but like up until then, you know, he's really kind of been off the radar. Everyone says, you know, that he's like a perfectly like normal, like nice guy, whereas like you have both Mark Hamill and you know, Ewan McGregor, who I don't know as much about Ewan McGregor, but I know that like Mark Hamill has been like, you know, on top of all his TDS stuff, he's been like really abrasive towards like fans and whatnot, and just like really kind of actually nasty.
Yeah. The thing with Hayden Christensen is you don't know what his politics are. You don't hear about him getting arrested. You don't hear about him having these bad interactions with fans, and maybe all that, like, you don't know. Maybe there's all of that is real, but you just don't hear about it. Right. And that says a lot, because if he was doing those kind of things, you would, you know, more often than not.
Same with you know, same with Keanu Reeves, you know, who's a bit more high profile, but you know, same thing. So
yeah. That used to be a very Hollywood mentality too. You know, Tom Hanks very famously for years would refuse to comment on anything political, and now he never shuts up about how much he hates Trump. Breaking his own rule that made him famous in the first place.
Yep.
Well, and I think that The Rock, actually, to his credit, you know, I know people were kind of shitting on The Rock for getting political, and rightly so, but I think The Rock actually like maybe learned, you know,
he learned from 2020.
Yeah.
He learned a couple things, and one of those things I think people overlook. He learned that a company that he's now on the board of, which would be TKO, WWE's parent company, is a very right-wing culture.
Yeah.
And he's not going to win by as like a head honcho at that company by being a lefty TDS psycho. And I'm sure somebody from his management or TKO or something told him this, right? Like, brother, you got to calm down, because Dana White is one of the co-owners of this fucking company. and Donald Trump comes to all of our events. See, people forget WWE and UFC are the same company now.
Yeah.
And WWE is also not a lefty company and never has been. Yeah, so they're not like hardcore. Even Vince wasn't a hardcore right winger in a lot of ways that people would think of that. But
right,
he's never been lefty. They've never had DEI policies in WWE, though they have flirted with the idea of inclusion or whatever, representation. The thing is, it's wrestling, and so they've always had representation in wrestling. It's just a matter of how offensive the representation has been. And in some cases, when the supposedly African guy is a big, angry tribal going, ooga booga, that's probably not the best representation. But if you look at for the past like 20 years, do they represent black wrestlers any differently than white wrestlers? The answer is not really, no.
There's
been plenty of black champions, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was explaining this to someone who doesn't understand wrestling, that like that the satire isn't necessarily like that. Basically, like, wrestling is one of those things where, like, it is largely, the characters at least are satire, but they'll satirize everyone,
I guess that's true of modern wrestling with you AEW marks, but no, it's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be, Sam. It's not supposed to be satire. The villain's supposed to make you actually legitimately angry, and this is, see, I hate this modern wrestling bullshit, Sam. What are you doing? You're ruining your own thing that you like by saying shit like that, right? The heel should have license to be a heel. You are justifying that he's not really a heel. You see, you're literally undermining the business. You understand?
Maybe. Well,
he actually wasn't making fun of fucking stupid rednecks. Actually, he's a nice guy. Actually, you should really like him. Actually, you shouldn't want to pay to see him get beat up.
No. Maybe I'm just fucked up then, because
I'm a modern wrestling fan who that's how it's been sold to you your whole life, because they already admitted it was fake when you were a little kid. But I'm telling you, it's not supposed to be like that. The heel's supposed to offend you. That's part of the thing. You're supposed to actually want to hurt him. You're supposed to. Dude, did you see on Monday Night Raw, the New Day, when Xavier Woods, by the way, if anybody has missed it, the New Day is broken up because the other two turned their backs on Big E for breaking his fucking neck. And it's beautiful because what happened is they come out. They stole a camera, right, from one of the camera guys, and you got to see right from point of view in the face of the crowd, and that crowd wanted to kill them. It wanted to rip them limb from limb, and I said, my God, this is wrestling. It's been not like this in a very long time. They actually want to hurt Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston, who 2 weeks ago they all thought was the nicest guy in the company.
That's how you do it.
Right. And so if they said, well, this is all just satire, we don't actually mean anything we said about Big E. Actually, we really like him and we're bestest of friends, it would kind of ruin it. You see?
Yeah, well, people.
Joe and chat just said it. White hot heat.
Yeah, white fucking hot heat. I've not seen heat like this since at least the 90s. It was crazy. Well, even the Dominic Mysterio heat has nothing on this New Day heat. It's fucking wild.
Oh yeah, no, not at all.
But that's kind of my point, Sam. Is I know what you were trying to say is that the portrayals being a bit satirical, which is maybe why they're a little politically incorrect. But no, it's more than that. It was the culture of the 80s and 90s to be politically incorrect.
Right.
And some of those characters do not hold up. Like I will be the first. I don't care about the woke shit. I don't care about DEI to save my life. But I'll be honest with you that there's some shit from the 80s and 90s with WWE that's a little racist, a little sexist, a little homophobic, like all that shit. Some of it is, right? And it might have been funny at the time. It might not have worked. Some of it just didn't work. Remember Billy and Chuck?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that just didn't work, right? It's just sometimes shit in wrestling just doesn't work. But like, yeah, there's been shit that was definitely like mean-spirited in wrestling. Like trying to deny that under the guise of it being satirical kind of misses the point. But one of the benefits of wrestling going way back to like the 40s and 50s, okay, was that people are actually entertained when the wrestlers are more diverse. And that used to mean a lot of different things than what it does now, because you'd have black wrestlers from the South, and they would be different from the black wrestlers from the North. And you know what I mean? So it wasn't just, black wrestler equals diverse, right? Because JYD was not the same as Bobo Brazil, right? And the Samoan, a lot of people only know what a Samoan is because of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. So having these different casts of characters who represented from different parts of the world, different lifestyles, all of that's part of what makes wrestling special. And hey, Joe threw out Goldust and Gorgeous George. Big one on Gorgeous George. Man, that guy got heat, and all he did was act a little gay. And he wasn't gay. That's the beauty of it. His valet that he was supposedly disgusted by because she was like, he would always look at her like, you. That's his wife. So he wasn't gay at all.
Yeah.
He just had this thing about him, right? Would his portrayal of a gay person be okay nowadays? No. Is he still one of the greats of all time? Yeah. You know, things have evolved a little bit, and I think that it's not. We shouldn't just say all of it's bad. It's okay. Like, you don't have to portray every gay person as a stereotype all the time. I'm fine with that. The problem is they've gone the opposite direction, and they all have to be a positive stereotype all the time and in everything. Right.
Yeah. Well, again, it's the whole thing of like no one can laugh at anything anymore.
Yeah.
So,
or everybody has to be angry. Like sometimes you're the butt of the joke. It's okay. Nobody knows this more than Irish people, let me tell you.
Oh yeah.
You know, every time you mention you're Irish, somebody's like, yeah, haha, you're an alcoholic and you like to fight. And I'm like, look, man, that's a stereotype. I don't drink very much at all.
Sure, Max. That's what all the Irishmen say.
No, but that's actually true. And luckily it got you off the other part where I like to fight.
No, I know for
Sam, or I'll get drunk and fight you.
No, I know for you it actually is true that you don't drink that much, but I'm just saying, but
it's funny because it's the same as like the cripple jokes you get, right? It's like it's the same one every time.
Yeah.
It's hard to even be like, this is why Irish people are like that. It's hard to even be offended by it. It's like, oh yeah, I'm the drunk. Yep, I'm a drunk and I like to fight.
My favorite one is my favorite cripple joke. It's not my favorite and it's actually good. It's just I hear it all the time. It's, Sam, I've got news for you. I hope you're sitting down for this one. And it's like,
oh,
whoa.
Damn, I gotta cross that off my list of one-liners that I was gonna use in the future then, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty weak.
No, actually, now I have to use it. I have to wait for the perfect moment when you're not expecting it. So you're just gonna be like, God damn it, Max.
I'll just laugh and face palm.
Well, see, because even the played out joke can be used correctly and still be funny, but they don't even have that much creativity, you know?
Oh yeah. So, no, it's just the funniest thing to me is like when someone will like use one of those jokes on me and like I won't laugh, and it's not even because I'm not insulted. It's like yeah, I've heard that one like.
Yeah, that was funny 25 years ago.
It's Max. It's kind of like, speaking of relevant news stories, it's kind of like how the Hawk Tuah Girl is kind of played out now, and how apparently,
well, judging by what she's famous for, that girl was played out before she ever got a microphone in her face because she had so many dicks in it.
Yeah, well, now she's making
She's famous. My wife's looking at me like that was horrible. She's famous for talking about sucking dick. That's what she's famous for.
Yeah,
I
don't.
can talk about her sucking dick too by that logic.
Yeah, Maxine, don't be
She's
giving.
giving advice about sucking dick. That's what made her famous.
Yeah, don't be giving Max dirty looks for that one. He's completely.
That's right. By this logic, Destiny needs to be famous now, right? He's a way better dick sucker. There's millions of videos of it.
In this particular case, Max did nothing wrong.
Like, I'd also like to go back to like our whole thing on. I would actually like to take the audience back to, I believe, 2 weeks ago on this program, Max, when we actually talked about this various thing of we won't endorse meme coins for Right to Vend, nor will we ever create one because shit like this. And I know the sandwich makers covered I know Maxine covered a little bit, but for those who missed it, apparently Hawk Tuah came up with like a meme coin, and it was a scam.
Massive scam.
It is the worst rug pull scam by anybody's metrics. It's so bad that Bitmaps.
It's worse than fucking cryptos do.
Yeah, it's the worst one I think yet, and unless you count Mount Gox, which was a whole different kind of thing. That wasn't a scam so much as somebody just stole all of it. So what happened is Bitmaps, which is in charge of looking at the blockchain and where the wallets connect and all of that stuff. Bitmaps started it all by putting out a tweet with the map of their coin, and 97% of the wallets were in a cluster together connected to each other, which means they were insider trading.
Right.
Like, this is a very simplified version of what's going on, but they were trading amongst themselves to try and get in on the market so that day one, when all the fans of this dick sucking girl would buy the coin, right, that their coin would essentially their money gets pulled right out from under them. That's why they call it a rug pull. So the people that are financing the coin initially are those 97% people that own 97% of the coin. Their money is in it, right? And the first thing they do is sell to the market. So they're immediately pulling all of the money out of the coin and all of the money from the people buying the coin. So it all gets taken by a select few wallets that had pre-access. This is very illegal, to be clear. This is like FTC level stuff. I have no doubt the FTC is going to be involved with an investigation regarding this.
So I watched a couple of videos on this today. None of which I'm going to play because we're kind of covering it here right now. But just like my initial thought on this is, some people are saying that Hayley, whatever her name, is ignorant of this whole thing because she doesn't know that much about crypto, and that might be true. But
she's still the face of it.
Yeah, she's the face.
She's very likely doesn't know a lot of this stuff. To be fair, it seems like she has no idea. She didn't even know who CoffeeZilla was when he came into a call with her, which shows you how much she knows about the crypto space because they're all terrified of him. And
as they should be.
Should be. And she wasn't. She got hostile with him, which tells you that she was unaware and maybe nobody had even talked to her about it. Her lawyer, I guess, contacted him. I don't know if anybody had seen this. It was in his video where they essentially said that she got paid $125,000 up front, and that's basically the extent of it. They gave her coins to give away to her fans and $125K, and then promised her some amount of money. I don't remember exactly what the split was from the total profit, but there's not going to be any profit because everybody took their money out.
Right.
So basically she got paid, And this is what's important is you got like if you're a celebrity of any variety, you got to know your value. And she's undersold for that 125,000. Her entire reputation, basically, it's fucking done.
Yeah, not only that, but I would say too the big lesson is, right, she doesn't know anything. She's admitted she doesn't know anything about crypto. I remember Rush Limbaugh about like 10 or 15 years ago. I was listening to a show, and he said he did a segment on one of his shows years ago where he said he literally would not endorse a product until he himself knew what that product was, and what they were all about. And
but that's the thing, Sam, is that they like to some degree she does know what a meme coin is.
Yeah, well,
right?
she knows
She
enough.
that she was going to make money.
She knew. They all know that crypto's kind of a scam. Like that's common knowledge now. That most cryptos, aside from Bitcoin, Litecoin, Monero, a few others, are a scam. Like meme coins, especially. Like I've never seen a meme coin that I don't consider a scam. And you could say Doge, but Doge wasn't originally a meme coin; it was a dump coin. That's different. So, and it just existed for about 10 years, and then Elon made it a meme. That doesn't mean that it was a meme coin. Meme coins are a scam from the beginning, and a lot of these celebrities know it. Very famously, you could watch what happened to Logan Paul. Logan Paul, very similar situation. I know how bad Mort gets about it, but Logan Paul said the same thing. He's like, I actually had no idea about the inner workings of it, and they paid him way more than they paid this bitch, by the way. His name's worth more.
Right.
He didn't sell himself out for $100K like she did, but regardless, yeah, he didn't know how it was run. He didn't realize it was a scam. And you could argue that maybe he didn't know it was a scam because the crypto meme coin stuff, he was one of the first big ones.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then all these people got in, and then they all rug pulled. The thing is that his team might have not even been part of the rug pull. Same with Hayley in this situation. There might have been other people. The team, gave some coins to these people, that people, and those people do the actual rug pulling.
The thing that gets me is that the teams are always like, we're going to do something cool with these coins. What the fuck can you do that's cool with these goddamn coins?
Well, it's the same fucking thing every time, and you know what it is, Mort. You're going to get into a special Discord.
Yep.
Which is free, by the way, which is free to set up for anybody. Hey,
yep.
Instead of us having a meme coin, for you to join a special Discord, you can join
our Gilded.
Gilded, yeah.
Yeah. And you can also watch Max die live on
At least he's not having a heart attack like Mersh.
No, I've been sick as a dog this month. I walked fucking 30 miles in the snow like a week ago.
Uphill both ways in the snow. Barefoot.
No, I'm not stupid enough for barefoot, but it is always up. Man, see, people who don't walk far don't realize if there's always a hill, see, it's always uphill both ways.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially when it's like 30, when you're walking 30 miles, it's definitely uphill both ways because there's going to be hills.
So,
also, if you're walking to a place and then back, and you walk up one hill, you end up walking up fucking 4 hills.
Yeah.
Trust me, I don't feel great, Sam. I feel like I walked 30 miles in this, not snow, but you're Mort's probably more familiar with sleet. Out in Colorado, you guys get like nice snow. We just get that wet shit.
Yeah, we
heavy wet mixed with frozen rain. That's what I was walking through, so I'm a little sick.
Yeah, well, if we need to end the show a little early tonight, we can.
No, I know where the mute button is.
But evidently my whole thing is like I don't really like. I don't understand. Here's my thing, guys. I don't understand like scam coins to me seem like such an obvious.
Here's where I don't
scam.
give the Paul brothers any leeway. Dink Doink. You can argue to me that they didn't know what the fuck was going on with Dink Doink.
What's Think Doink?
Yeah.
What's that?
What is that?
It was one of their meme coins that they also were trying to say was going to be a South Park like commercial or show.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Is you say, well, you know, they know about this, but I'm well versed on the crypto scene, and I have no idea what you're talking about. And then these people are even further removed from it, so it's no shock that Hayley or somebody like Logan Paul would have no fucking clue about crypto scams until they become the face of one. It's not surprising, but man, my advice if you're like a celebrity is just say no to fucking meme coins, bro. Like it's never gonna end well.
My whole thing though too is like, and maybe I'm just getting like, maybe these celebrities are a lot more in like a bubble than I thought, but like it seems like all these meme coins being scams have kind of become like it seems like meme coins being a scam is kind of like a meme itself. So I guess what possesses like all these celebrities to be like, oh, but not my meme coin. My meme coin is going to be like,
because Sam, they've all understood the massive and powerful force of magic known as irony. You see, my coin, the boogie defense, my coin is a scam and it's gonna make you poor, you see. So I'm not responsible for anything because I am a man child. That's basically the fucking logic. Yeah.
I hate to say it too, but it's like I don't want to say that people.
It's not about the money, Sam. The $20 or whatever you buy the coin for gets you a ticket so that you can come into our super secret private Discord server that costs us $0 to set up and $0 to run.
I mean, I don't want to say people deserve to be ripped off, but if you're literally advertising yourself as like a scam and people are buying it,
they do deserve to be ripped off, Sam, because they're all trying to get rich quick off of it. That's the other part that people don't want to talk about. All the people that got scammed are trying to get rich quick.
Okay, so I'm not an asshole for thinking that.
No, I don't think that at all.
I think there was a small, like, let's just specifically talk about the fucking Hawk Tuah Girl coin, okay? Was there a percentage of them that were fans of hers that were buying it specifically for whatever Discord server that they were offering? Were they buying it because they want to support the person they like? Yes, there were definitely some of those, but the vast majority, as with any meme coin, is crypto bros who are trying to get in on the pump and dump when they can dump. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Probably like 80+%, if not more, that people weren't insider trading, were crypto bros trying to make a quick buck. And a lot of them did at the expense of her fans.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Did her fans deserve to get scammed like that? I don't think so. But most of the people did.
Yeah.
And that's a hot take that a lot of people aren't going to like, but a lot of those people, they knew exactly what they were getting into. They knew the risk. They know what a rug pull is. See, it's this arrogance. I had a guy like this. Do you remember BitConnect?
Yep.
Yeah.
This guy, and he's a smart guy, one of the smartest guys in our group. We knew him years ago. He advocated that we should all go in on BitConnect, and we were like, bro, that's a scam. And he's like, don't worry, I'm smart, you see. I'll get my money out before the scam happens when you can actually make money, and then we'll all make money. And we were all like, no, fuck you. That guy invested his entire life savings into this project. And if you know anything about BitConnect, there was never a point you could take your money out, period. It was never meant to do that.
Oh, no.
So he lost his life savings, and he was calling us risk-averse pussies and shit, and because he knew better. That's the mindset of these guys. They're gonna scam the scammer. So do they deserve to get scammed? Yes, they do. But wrapped up in that is going to be a 17-year-old who works a part-time job and really likes this fucking chick for whatever reason, wants to get in her Discord server. He's going to be taken advantage of too. But the vast majority of them are these bullshitters that are trying to get one over on everybody.
Yeah, well,
but that's why we won't be doing a meme coin, even ironically.
I mean,
because it just has the whiff of a scam immediately, doesn't it? If we said we're announcing a fucking coin, you'd be like, our audience would roll their fucking eyes.
Well, not just that, but like, you know, the thing of it is, like, we have, like, and I actually talked about this with I asked John his whole opinion on this crypto. Yeah, he had some interesting takes about the Hawk Tuah Girl just in general. But one of the things that he said, which regarding crypto, is like, you know, he likes independent media because of things like this, where like this is a book that you can physically and tangibly hold.
And like, an interesting point, right, is from the art perspective. And this is where I'm like, a lot of like gamers especially have it all wrong in regards to NFTs. Okay. NFTs can be a great thing for artists. And
100%.
And because the people rejected them outright as a scam across the board, that's why a lot of these meme coins are happening, because the NFTs, like, for example, I'm a big fan of the rapper Cannabis, and he sold specific NFTs of songs. The Insane Clown Posse has sold the rights to songs as an NFT, like literally the right to use their song. Artists that make actual like visual arts selling their NFTs. This was great for all of them, but then there was the anti-NFT, and it mainly came from gamers who don't understand that just because it being implemented into a game has always been a scam so far doesn't mean the technology itself is a scam. And also that there's been scams with NFTs does not mean the technology. It's just like crypto. The technology itself is not a scam.
Right.
But then the meme coins are a scam, and it's the same with NFTs. But if it's like an artist that you like, that's different. It could be a way to own a very cool exclusive piece of media from an artist digitally.
Right. Yeah.
And that, I think, it does have value. The problem is they treated it like the coins themselves, which already weren't being treated. Bitcoin should be treated as a currency, but it's not. It's treated like a commodity, like a stock. Okay. They treat NFTs like that too, like a stock, instead of a piece of art. Like, it's not traded and sold the same way as collectible art is, because everybody's trying to, anything crypto they think is a get rich quick scheme, which is kind of true. Like, that's as true as you want it to be.
Right.
But yeah, so NFTs, if you're a big major artist anymore and you say I'm going to make an NFT, you get backlash from your fans, and it's a lot of it is actually misplaced. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's super misplaced. If a musician makes an NFT with their songs and you're like, that's a scam. It's literally not a scam. It's the opposite of a fucking scam. They're telling you exactly what it is, et cetera, et cetera. But because people scammed with it, it's now painted with the brush of a scam. So you get these celebrities, they've moved on. Instead of being able to do exclusive NFTs, they're doing meme coins. And meme coins are just a scam, period.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally.
NFTs can be done correctly. So can a crypto, actually. But meme coins are a scam. I've not seen one yet that wasn't.
My question is like...
But that's why they've been painted with the broad brush of a scam, is because we haven't seen one that's quote-unquote been done correctly.
Well, but I'm saying NFTs being painted with that broad brush, yes, we have. It's just not in a video game, and gamers can't conceive of anything outside of a fucking video game.
Yeah,
NFT games suck. I'm not saying they don't. I'm not saying it's not a scam in that context. But I'm telling you, if an artist you like or a musician you like puts out an exclusive NFT, that's not a scam, right?
Right.
And so the painting them with a broad brush as a scam by gamers, I do think is very unfair, because just in the context of gaming, that's been true, yes. But Two things. One, I think a game could do NFTs right, but it would not end up being enough of a cash grab for them to want to do that. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right, and it needs to not be done by AAA.
I think also just
I think it could be done by AAAs if they had the right mentality, but you're right. As of right now, they don't. Yeah.
Well, I think also, and this is just putting it like in like super normie, normie terms. Kind of from my observation is, and this could go for anything, right? NFTs, books, ebooks, anything, right? Anything I don't understand the concept of is a scam, right? That kind of tends to be like a generally, normie thing. Anything I don't,
especially when in the context like with NFTs, I understand why gamers think they are universally a scam because the only time they've interacted with them has been a scam.
Right, because the only time that we've interacted with them is with the likes of Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Steam has banned that, so you're not going to see the biggest developers even chasing it anymore. And hey, look, you guys won. You wrongly labeled NFTs as a scam, and nobody will do them anymore. Congrats, right? But the consequences of that action of getting everybody to decide that NFTs was a scam is now that meme coins is the thing those same kind of people are going to do, and meme coins are a way bigger scam. So you win, yay, gamers! You got rid of NFTs, now you get meme coins.
Yeah,
and if you don't think they'll work crypto into games before they'll work NFTs into games, I mean, come on.
Yeah, there's
games on Steam that have crypto miners in them secretly, right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually, it's funny that you bring up NFTs because I know Victoria Fuller. She's a Playboy Playmate who is actually into art. And that's actually how I initially met Karina. And she has an NFT company, and I hold a few of those trading cards. It's legit. And, but yeah, I was DMing back and forth with her, and she said that this whole meme coin thing has really fucked up the whole NFT community because she's trying to do a legitimate thing to kind of build off the Playboy brand and do her own indie thing, and yet meme coins have kind of fucked what she's trying to do.
Yeah, a lot of artists went in on NFTs the right way too. I could point to so many artists, musicians, content creators that did NFTs the right way. But again, as soon as gaming got a hold of the idea, they poisoned gamers against it. And gamers, look, they're crybabies, okay? They're crybabies that don't necessarily understand what they're crying about half the time. And that's what happened to NFTs is like, oh, well, we got to get rid of all the NFTs. Meanwhile, if you were an artist, if you were, using this legitimately, they have now turned, because of that kind of mentality, turned your legitimate project into something it's not, right? And now nobody wants to buy your NFT anymore because NFTs as a group is just a scam. So it's unfortunate that it goes that way because people, again, why I will defend NFTs. We have not seen meme coin done right. We've not seen an NFT in a video game done right, but so many artists did NFTs the right way and didn't. The other thing is people think of NFTs, they think of like really, really, really expensive ones, but a lot of artists did not do that. They were relatively affordable. Just it's like a piece of merchandise, in the couple $100 range rather than the multi tens of thousands that a lot of NFTs go for.
Yeah, Victoria, I just mentioned she did. She does trading cards of her art. You can buy like a pack of virtual trading cards, I think, for like $10, and I mean, $10 that's nothing.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm sure that the resale value on them is not expected to be like $1 bajillion either, which is why, like, the problem is when they think they can make a buck off these NFTs, because there's two kinds of people using this technology in crypto as well. There's the people that believe in the technology or the use that it has. In the case of NFTs, this is the artists. And then there's the people that see it as a way to make a buck. And unfortunately, those two sides cannot coexist in a lot of these spaces. And so now if NFTs, buying and trading them is now a commodity like a stock, then they're going to day trade them, which was not the intent of the artist that released the NFT in the first place in a lot of cases, where it was just a special thing for a fan. Now it's being bought and sold to try and make $2 on a market cap in a fucking Thursday afternoon or whatever, and it ruins the value.
Yeah. Let's see. Joe Fish has a couple of comments about wrestling from a few minutes ago, and then Apex says, "Hey fellas, hello, hey Apex." So
let's see. We've talked about the spoiled rich kid assassination and NFTs, and what else we got?
The Hawk Tuah ending her career.
We'll see. I don't know. It depends on if she goes to jail. I think if she doesn't go to jail, she's going to make a comeback and everybody's going to be mad about it, but it's definitely going to happen. It's kind of like the Paul brothers. Like, so many people hate them, but they're super famous.
Well, so that's the thing is, like,
you don't have to be liked by the masses anymore to be famous, which is wild. You can be hated by the masses and be famous.
Yeah, no, that. Well, like I just said, when I talked to John, one of the things he said is there are so many people that shouldn't be famous that are famous, and
Yeah, but he's more talking about how they act, and I'm just saying, like, these people, because that's more like old school security guy wisdom, which I totally relate to, where some of them are just dickheads and don't deserve their fame. But this is different than that. We are now rewarding people with fame who we hate. Every time you click something about Andrew Tate, right, it just makes him more famous.
Yeah. No.
You name it. The Paul brothers, this Hayley chick. Every time, Tim Pool, in my case, every time. This is why I go out of my way to not ever touch anything to do with Tim Pool, because I just don't want to validate him with my hate, because it doesn't make him more famous. So it's wild to me that we've gone that. Like, you can be famous for being somebody that literally nobody likes and make money. This is a career path. Look at Johnny fucking Somali.
Well, I mean, on a smaller scale, kind of like something we can relate to. I mean, look at Ethan Ralph and Mersh as like two, as two, examples on the smaller end. I mean, both are hated, and both actually hate themselves too.
In the case of Ethan Ralph, it's most of the people who know him now they weren't around when he was like popular and people liked him. And so his entire, I would say, Ethan Ralph, like most of his audience now, has always hated him since they started knowing about him. It's crazy to me. But they'll donate him money. They'll keep his lifestyle going because they want to see. And to be fair, I kind of get that, because it's like, I want to see what he's going to do next. But at the same time, they're propping this guy's whole lifestyle up that they say they hate so much.
Well, that's the same exact thing with Mersh too. It's like I only
knew about Mersh because of Pod Awful and You. Yeah. I never heard about him when he was popular, if he ever was.
He got popular because he was initially, dogging on Owen Benjamin, and then, now he's made up with Owen.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's how all these internet losers end up going, right? Is like they alienate so many people that they need an ally that's equally as off-putting or worse. It's kind of like when a group of girls, they have that one really, really fat friend that they all gas up until she's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Mersh is doing to Owen Benjamin right now. He's like, yeah, you're not fat at all. You're the hottest one.
Well, speaking of Mersh, and
you go get him, girl.
speaking of merch and scams and whatnot, merch is actually claiming now that that Rumble is like a pyramid scheme and that Rumble is a scam, which is
He's
funny.
been saying that for a while. I'm waiting for him to explain how it works.
Yeah, no, what's funny to me about that is like I remember Pod Awful was saying that like 2 years ago when Merch was like, still saying that that Rumble was the greatest, and to be fair, Rumble is the greatest because they host this show.
Right.
But like I've also never said that, Rumble is a scam. But I find it funny because, by Mercer's logic, he would kind of be admitting that like Pod Awful is right? If Pod Awful was the one who was saying that Rumble is a scam, and now Merch is also saying that Rumble is a scam, then wouldn't this be a Pod Awful 1 moment?
It's amazing to me that everybody wants to talk about. This goes for Pod Awful too, whether Rumble's a scam or not. But those, I don't see people talking about the giant scam of YouTube demonetization, which is a scam.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
How's it a scam, Max? Well, I'm glad you asked. If these demonetized words that you said are so awful that advertisers will not advertise, then surely YouTube wouldn't put ads on that video and then take the ad money for themselves, right? Oh, that's exactly what demonetization means on YouTube. It means that we're going to put your content up, but you don't get paid for it. We get paid for it. Oh, the advertisers, they don't like those dirty words you use, but we're going to put those ads on there anyway. So you said a dirty word, you don't get paid.
Or how about this, Max? Or let's say that your channel isn't even eligible for monetization yet. Okay, you haven't met the requirements for being eligible for advertising, but they'll still run ads on your video that you don't get to choose.
That's right.
Right?
The whole scam is you have to dance to the tune that they want you to dance to, or you do not get paid. Period.
Dance, monkey, dance.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, those things that they see, we've discussed this before, but those things that they say you're not allowed to say on YouTube because of advertisers, they say them on broadcast television and radio every day. And they get all of the advertisers. You think Budweiser, fucking Coca-Cola, you think they give a fuck that on a Forensic Files episode they said the word suicide? No, they don't give a fuck. They advertise on that show anyway. Why? Because it's on fucking TV and because there's people watching it. And if your YouTube channel has people watching it, they're going to advertise it on it anyway too. It's just a matter of whether YouTube wants to give you the money or take it themselves. And guess what their preference is? It's not to give you the money.
Right. Yeah, it's funny, Max, because
Rumble's a scam, though, Sam.
Well, listen, I'll tell you this.
I've had a hell of a lot less trouble getting my money out of Rumble than I have out of fucking YouTube. You want to fucking bet?
Well, listen, unlike YouTube, which has never paid me a cent, despite the years of content I put up on their platform, I've gotten paid by Rumble.
That's right.
If you think about it too, like I might not get a deposit from Rumble like every month, but on all the videos that I've gotten, that are on this channel, I get a fraction of a cent from advertising on each one of those, which does accumulate over time. That's more money, even though it's just like a fraction of a cent that I've made in my entire YouTube career. So, I mean, if that's a scam, then like that's a pretty.
If that's a scam, then scam away, damn it.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty bad scheme. If I'm actually making money,
I've been monetized on YouTube, and I got very little out of it, and I had to fight for it.
Yeah,
And that's, I mean, let's not even forget, you just appealed your YouTube channel and they said, yeah, we still say that it belongs banned. We're not going to tell you why.
Yeah, so that's the other funny thing too is ever since I
So Grandpa eulogizing is still canon.
yep.
And here's the reason why they said that, Sam. Do you know why they said that? Because they deleted your fucking channel and they didn't review shit, Sam. They didn't review shit. Your channel's been gone a year and a half. There's nothing for them to even look at. So they couldn't tell you what it was banned for. And they're just reupholding their fucking original decision. And so, yeah, you're going to stay. I kind of figured that was going to happen, but I said, I think you should do it because people are always asking us, why doesn't Sam have his YouTube channel? Let's fucking, yeah, okay. You want to see what it's like? This is what it's like. They told him he can't eulogize his grandfather. And here we are a year later, and his channel's gone. It's gone. They can't even look at it, but they're still telling him it's banned.
Well, what's funny is so,
or rather, they're still saying you broke the rules, even though they can't even check that.
Yeah. So no, what's funny is I'm on a podcast, episode now, Tell to Scribes, which has gotten like 42,000 views on YouTube. So like I'm more like I might not be like viral, but I've gotten visibility on a platform that I'm no longer even allowed to, participate in, which is
which is why the next step, now that we know, okay, Sam can't get his main channel back, which they weren't gonna. I knew they weren't gonna do it because it's deleted. There's no way in hell it's not gone forever, right?
Yeah,
but you did the right thing by trying.
Yeah. No, and
by the way, just for the clarification, because people ask me in particular about your YouTube channel so often. For clarification purposes, this is the second time you've appealed.
Yeah.
You appealed right when it happened, and now you said, okay, I've waited a year and a half. Let's test it again. And both times, I personally don't think they reviewed anything and just decided.
They absolutely didn't. And then also the other thing too is I've also gotten tweets from, the YouTube creators Twitter being like, "Hi, can you give us your URL link?" And each time I've said, okay, like, can you please at least, if there's an actual human here, can you at least give me a reason?
What is it that I got banned for?
Yeah,
and we're waiting. We're getting close to 2 years, and the answer is, wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've told people like that my channel got, like, I even told John, you'll see this in the podcast, like I told him that my channel got banned and he gave me this weird
People don't believe me, Sam.
Like,
you're so tame.
People are like, why? What did you get banned for? My only thing is, I don't know. I'll tell you this though. I told John this today.
The real truth is you might have stepped in it about COVID stuff because they changed the information what you're allowed to say about COVID every fucking week. That's if we're really to say what probably led to the channel ban, it was probably something related to COVID misinformation, which they wouldn't ban you for right now, by the way.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. Well, I did tell John Guarnieri to get a Rumble channel for Spear Talk, which he has done, because he did tell me that and you'll hear more about this on Monday, but he told me that he has talked to sex trafficking victim advocates on his show, and because he's interviewed people about sex trafficking and the word sex trafficking has been, in the video, they've actually taken down his videos as being unsafe for children.
Well, that's an interesting slippery slope too, right? That we talked about this on the Sandwich Makers, but a quick recap of what I said was originally, and still to this day on broadcast television, like Law and Order SVU, right? They would refer to a rape victim. They would say the word rape. YouTube has decided that rape wasn't acceptable because of, advertisers. Okay. So people started saying sexual assault, right? And then sexual assault became, because they know that you're replacing the word, they know the intent. They're like, you can't say sexual assault. So they started saying SA, right? And then again, YouTube said, we know the intent. We want you to not discuss this topic at all. That's what it really is. They don't want you to discuss the topic at all. But we keep finding replacement words. The funnier one now is I see a lot of like even lefty women using the word, the term graped. And it's like, because that's what people are going to do, because these are words that mean something and that people do talk about sometimes. Murder, true crime is a discussion topic. Terrorism is a discussion topic. All of these things normal people talk about. YouTube is telling you, basically openly, you cannot discuss this topic on our platform, period. And then somebody does what is a normal thing, like you're saying John did, and has somebody tell their victim story rather than, it's not like they're a perpetrator story, right? It's a victim story. But because it contains terms related to the crime itself, this victim is now silenced by YouTube. And I find that disgusting, but that's how it is. That's where we're at.
Or hey, in John's case, or hey, I run an advocacy group, helping these trafficked children, and hey, I have this opportunity to go on this, very like well-regarded podcast and tell others about like
you're helping victims by discussing this, and you are trying to hamper that process.
It's actually disgusting.
It is. It is. Yes. Look, a group for survivors of human trafficking being able to discuss what happened to them in the terms that they feel comfortable with. I don't see a problem with that, but YouTube does. It's adult content, by the way. Think about that too. You have to specify if your shit's made for kids or with kids in mind at all, right? So it is adult content. YouTube knows this is adult content, and they're still saying you can't have the conversation.
Yeah, which to be fair, when the made for kids thing initially like happened, I was actually like, that was one thing where I was like, okay, this is actually okay. Like you should specify it. But like that's where it should have stopped, right? And for that, like,
Right, but that's part of the corporate cleanup that they're trying to do of YouTube to make it from YouTube into UsTube, where the corporations are all the big channels, and you can still make your little small channel, but they're not going to promote you. They're not going to help you move up the algorithm and actively suppress you if you get too big. This is what a lot of independent creators are experiencing now. If you're too big and you're not part of the corpo program, you get throttled,
Yeah.
So yeah, YouTube is like as anti-art and anti-free speech and anti-independent media as it can be.
Yeah.
To me, that's a scam.
To me that's a scam. I don't know who it was, but someone like a few weeks ago tweeted that like YouTube has been great for independent journalism, and I just quote tweeted that, and I went LOL. Because
that's a conflicting statement, isn't it? Right? Because it's true to some degree, but then YouTube itself has been the biggest enemy of independent journalism after it was the catalyst for the rise of a lot of it. They're right in that regard. Pre-Google YouTube especially was where citizen journalism kind of became a real thing. Alex Jones was on there and all that.
Yeah. Andrew Breitbart broke the the Anthony Weiner story on YouTube.
It absolutely helped grow independent journalism until it decided that it didn't like it anymore, and now it's been helping to try and protect corporate journalism and corporate media. And see, that's the other part, is that we're kind of locked into the politics news bubble to a large degree, but they're doing this in every other area as well. It's the sanitization of YouTube to get rid of independent creators. And it's amazing if you stop for a second to like listen to what the other side is saying too, the left has all the same problems with YouTube that we do.
Oh yeah. I've actually talked to a few of them about
They
that.
now the ones that I'm talking to obviously understand we're being censored and they're being censored, but they're telling me that a lot of the people on their side believe that only the left is being censored and that they believe this for several years now.
Yeah.
But the truth is, look, you guys on the left, you're too far outside corporal mainstream, and so are we. We're actually in the same boat, even though we completely disagree on probably everything.
Yeah, and listen, those are actually the types that like we would have conversations with. They might get a little heated, and we might disagree, but we would have those conversations. But we couldn't have our conversations on YouTube because
They'll ban us both.
Anti-corpo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're anti-corporate, you're kind of on the same side nowadays, whether you like it or not, to some degree.
Yeah, that's what that's what happened with Zach James. He actually like specifically with him and Instagram, like he's shadow banned on Instagram to the point where last month he's like, I'm not selling any books right now, so I'm gonna take a break from social media entirely, which I think is good on him. So.
Yeah, I've been doing less and less of it myself, as famously as you know, Sam, I pretty much only use Twitter for that. And I was always like, well, what's the point of everybody? You guys have been like, oh, well, Insta. You guys are all on Insta. And I'm just like, but like, here's the thing I don't like about Insta culture, Sam, is like everybody's kind of trying to big themselves up and self-promote. And I don't really do a lot of that.
Yeah, no, I get that. If it's one of those, it's John and I talked about this again. It's like one of those necessary evil things. Like I'm not really into like self-promoting myself either, but like I have the show and I am
I'm banned on Meta, so
yeah. Well, again,
like completely. Like me as a person, I am not welcome on a Meta platform.
So you're banned on Meta to the point where Maxine is single.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's so. Yeah, I'm pretty well banned on all Facebook platforms at this point. So.
Yeah, I'm not, but like,
and that it's because I went to Straight Pride. Talk amongst yourselves. Give me a couple of minutes, and I will show you something cool.
Okay, well, while we're waiting for cool things, how has Mr. Mortheous been?
Doing pretty good. We were supposed to have a Bits and Bones this past Sunday, but right as it was supposed to happen, I ended up getting sick. We plan on having Bits and Bones on Sunday, 10 o'clock p.m. Sunday night, and it's been a pretty interesting week in gaming so far.
Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting week in gaming, and
I'm not gonna lie, I'm one of those that absolutely wanted to hate the Indiana Jones game, but everything that I'm seeing now, it seems pretty interesting. As of right now, I really can't shit on it.
Yeah, me either. I do know that like for right now it's console exclusive to like PC and Xbox, but I do know that like later on sometime next year, it'll get ported to it'll get ported to like other consoles like the PS5, which I actually think is good because hear me out, that'll give them an opportunity to like fix any bugs that they have, which is stupid because like you've heard my rant, but like games should be
finished on release. Did we lose Sammy too?
I'm here. I'm here. YouTube. I mean, Rumble just made me like refresh the window.
Rumble pulled a more. Okay.
Yeah, which has been happening a lot lately. Oh, and for the viewers watching, for the audio listeners, co-host Max has returned with a big sign that says "Make normalcy normal again."
Do you really think that's going to happen there, Max?
It's happening already. It is. It's happening now. I was 4 years ahead of my time, or 5 actually, with this sign. Think about it. DEI is going away at the dodo. People are sick and tired of trainees all up in their spaces telling them how to live. Look, man, I think we're making normalcy normal again, honestly.
We can hope.
I love that sign, Max. But first off, did you make that or did you buy that?
Oh, no. Some guy randomly handed it to me and asked me to hold it up at the Straight Pride Parade in Boston in 2019. And I was like, yeah. So there's a funny clip, Sam, where, oh my God, what was the guy that used to be on The Blaze? He got fired or whatever.
Elijah Schaefer,
yeah. I'm walking in the parade, and Elijah Schaefer's like filming. He's on the sidelines, and I walk up to where he's at, and he's like, "Hey, what does your sign mean?" And I don't know if you know this, Sam, but when people ask Antifa that, they always say, "I don't know. Somebody handed it to me." So I said to him, "I don't know. Somebody just handed it to me," and he looked at me like I was an asshole. It's in one of his videos. There's a bunch of funny videos of me from Straight Pride, Sam. There's me yelling with do you know who Vermin Supreme is?
I do.
Me and him had a little exchange, and he doesn't like me anymore. There was a guy from the Libertarian Party that got beat up by the cops and pissed his pants and cried. That was pretty funny. Maybe you shouldn't throw pee bottles at the cops then, huh?
That might, that might be a good idea not to do that. So,
yeah. That was a interesting day, Sam. I have never since or before been confronted with Antifa like directly like that, and it was a bit frightening for a second when they were all screaming about how they hated me. But then I like kind of looked at them and I realized that they were all either soy boys or crazy women. And so it was fine. They weren't going to hurt anybody.
So
they're just having a good old time. Let them tucker themselves out.
Like, Max, what?
Sam, you see how big this fucking sign is? We walked right through Antifa holding our signs right as soon as we left. We just walked right through them and went to the fucking train. Like, what are you going to do?
What's worse, being surrounded by zombies in Call of Duty, or being surrounded by Antifa?
They make the same noises, Sam. Antifa screaming at you sounds exactly like a horde of zombies in Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But which one smells worse?
Antifa wins on like the smell. But I think the zombies in Call of Duty win on like actually being a danger to you because they might get you eventually. Whereas Antifa, most of them were way too fat to get anybody.
Yeah. It's not like you have any Antifa members that can like run super fast, because the thing with zombies is like they get to a point in the mode where they're like super fast and you gotta kind of like dodge around the map. But
Sam, they might not have the speed of the zombies in Call of Duty, but one thing they do have is how they get more and more bullet spongy. Well, you see, because these Antifa are so fucking fat, it requires more bullets.
Yeah. That would be a problem. That's why
But luckily, Sam, we didn't have to fight any zombies that day because the Boston Police Department whooped the fuck out of Antifa.
What?
Look, I understand it's a liberal city, okay, leftists? I understand it's a blue city, and so you think Boston, man, we could just do a thing in Boston. But let me tell you something about the Boston Police Department, okay? They don't care about your politics. They might even agree with some of your politics. But what they don't like is you acting up in the streets, and what they do like is whooping ass. You see? So if you have a big protest that gets even remotely out of fucking hand in Boston, you're going to have a nightstick up your ass.
Yeah.
This is a public service announcement. This is why Antifa doesn't do protests in Boston anymore. Also, it's the one place where like 10 of them got arrested for assaulting cops. Like no one else ever prosecutes them. You'd think Boston didn't. Of course they did.
Yeah.
The other thing is the general population here likes cops for the most part. So
yeah,
it's kind of, I don't know. Yeah. You can act the fool up in Boston all you want. The thing is, you just better be prepared that there's going to be cops coming at you with a line of shields in one hand and a line of fucking nightsticks in the other. And they're pretty good at it. There's a lot of videos. If you want to look this up, guys, look up Boston Police Department beating down protesters because there's a million videos of it. They do it every year. They don't give a fuck, Sam. And they never get sued for brutality during these particular events either. So
yeah. No,
yeah, don't go to Boston starting some shit just because it's a liberal. It's not New York City, okay? They ain't gonna put up with your shit.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It's definitely not Portlandia either. So.
No. Just because it's a blue city, don't make the mistake that they don't worship the fuck out of cops, because they do. They absolutely do, and they don't like protests because protests get between the New Englander and his job, and they don't like that. They don't like that. Protesters in the road do not get treated particularly well by your average masshole. Put it that way.
Well,
I wouldn't be surprised if one day somebody gets out of a car and just shoots one of these protesters sitting in the fucking. I'm not even kidding, because Massachusetts, like, they're like, dude, I'm gonna be 15 minutes late to work, and my boss is gonna ride my ass. They don't give a fuck about whatever you're protesting for. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, no. Those New Englander types, they they don't give a fuck up political stuff. They just want to live their lives.
A lot of them, yeah. And or especially, it's like the political stuff is secondary to work, right?
Well,
that's the thing for like the average working class Massachusetts guy is like work is the most important thing in his whole life, and if you're interrupting his fucking way to work, you're a devil. He hates you.
Well, Max, it's funny you say that. It's almost like you're describing why Trump got so many votes from the working class compared to...
Interestingly, Sam, the biggest shift towards Trump in any state was in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't win the state, but the largest shift percentage-wise is in any state that went from voting for Biden to voting for Trump was in Massachusetts.
Yeah, I did notice that, which was specifically why
Rhode Island was a lot bigger too than it had been. Actually, Rhode Island was close. Trump came very close to winning Rhode Island. Not that it would like change anything.
Yeah,
it's like I think it's like 3 electoral votes, but he came close, and he came, I think, within 10 points here. He came within 1 point in Rhode Island. I mean, yeah, like these New England play, and he won New Hampshire. He came very close in Vermont, and he split Maine. So when you go, and Connecticut went blue, as it always does. So
yeah,
if you look at the breakdown of New England, it's a far redder look than it was 4 years ago, 8 years ago, or 12 years ago.
Yeah,
going back to Obama's second term, or even Obama's first term. Yeah, I think the last time Massachusetts went this red would have been like Bush's second term. And he didn't win that either. Like, obviously, Democrats always win the state because Boston exists and they outnumber us. But generally speaking, it's gone redder and redder the last couple of years. But this was a huge one.
Same here with New York State. New York State outnumbers us, but we go redder and redder every goddamn year.
Yeah.
And that's why I am hopeful. That's why I thought it was fitting that I found my "Make Normalcy Normal Again" sign, because I feel like that's what we're doing. Where these weird behaviors are now they're still in everybody's face, right? The bad behaviors, the crazy shit that people are sick of, they're still there, and people look at them, but it's different now. 4 years ago, they'd be like afraid to say something about it. Right? Oh, this person's being abnormal in public. I better not say anything because the social justice warriors will cancel me. Now they'd be like, fuck off with your weirdo shit.
Yeah, well, and now like,
and now also
like,
leave them kids alone.
well, and also like a lot, even in like Silicon Valley now, like a lot of these like corporate offices that once had DEI offices, a lot of them are saying, okay, new quarter starting in 2025. So long, farewell. We no longer have the money for these, DEI.
The tide is turning, and that's we're making normalcy normal again, I think. And because people are acting like it, normal people who have been quiet about a lot for a while are like, yeah, I'm glad we're past all that shit.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing people forget is a lot of normies didn't exactly agree with any of this fucking crap. They just were afraid.
Right, yeah.
They see people losing their jobs. They see people's name getting run through the mud. They see people get doxxed. They're not stupid. Why would you stand up and get knocked down? A lot of people don't want to do that. We do that for whatever reason. Like people like us will say what we think about things. But for a lot of people, it's just easier not to. And it's just easier to go along. But then when the times change and that shit goes out of style, they're like, oh, thank God. Thank God. Because all I wanted to say was I don't really like these trannies in the bathroom with kids, right? But I would have lost my fucking job if I said that 5 years ago.
Right. Or even something like even more innocuous, like, I don't care about gay marriage. Do what you want. Like the fact that like some people are ambivalent towards something is not good enough for like the far left. You have to be 100% in favor of like whatever their thing is, and or else you're to the right of Adolf Hitler, pretty much.
Yeah, and it's not flying anymore. Normal people have realized they smell the change in the air.
Oh yeah,
and they're stretching. You can see them. You look on any of these social media sites, and you can see normies are actually telling jokes again.
Yeah. I think that's why. I mean, and I do think that Twitter, being bought and changing. Like, look, we kind of crap on Elon for some of the bug issues and whatnot with X, and rightly so maybe. But it's better than like. What I would like to see is maybe not Elon, but people keep talking about the Twitter files and whatnot, right? I would love to see the YouTube files, honestly, Max. Like, because
that would be amazing.
And so we run into the same problem that we've already run into. That's the TikTok problem. They will never sell because they don't want that to happen.
Right.
In the case of TikTok, that's explicitly why they said that even though the law that was passed here says that they can sell it, they're not going to sell it because they understand that the back doors into TikTok, it's not worth that going public. So they are going to literally close TikTok rather than sell it. And I believe that YouTube, it would be the same thing. Like Google, Alphabet Inc. would close YouTube.
Yep.
Before they would ever sell it because they don't want anybody, especially now after the Twitter files, they know that's the first thing somebody's going to do is dig through the back end and see all the wrongdoing they've done. And I guarantee you, YouTube did a lot more wrongdoing than fucking Twitter.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Easily.
So we're never going to get a YouTube buyout, I don't think, for that very reason. If it got into such financial straits that Alphabet Inc. was going to get rid of it, they would close it.
Well, it's funny you say that because like I've been hearing speculation that might be the case, but yeah, you are absolutely right that they would just close it down rather than
they could what they could do is they could rebrand and restart and then purge all that stuff from their files, and they might have already done that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But either way, like they're not going to want somebody to dig through their fucking dirty laundry. I know they're not. And TikTok TikTok has a more explicit reason because it's owned by the CCP, right? So they don't want you to know what the CCP is getting. Like, for example, we know for a fact, because it's in their handbook, that they literally have an algorithm that determines the bathroom habits of a user that has TikTok installed on their phone. That's literally in their handbook, right? And they say the reason for that is because bathroom time maximizes screen time. So if somebody's in the bathroom, they tend to flip through TikTok, right? That's what they say the reasoning is. Who knows why they want that fucking information, right? But the fact is, if you install TikTok on your phone, odds are they know when you take a shit. They don't want everybody to know where that information is being held. They don't want everybody to know anything about that. So they're literally going to close this service down that makes them tons of money. And think about that, Sam. In the case of TikTok, it's not just like YouTube is a business, but it's also their propaganda arm in America. It's literally their whole propaganda arm in America is TikTok. And they're willing to keep that down, not to show us what's behind the closed doors.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Which is
Pay no
coming
attention to the
next
man
month,
behind
I
the
believe.
curtain.
Sorry, Mort?
I said pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and we also know that they they throttle people's potential reach if they decide that they're not attractive enough. That's in their handbook.
Or have disabilities like Sam and I.
Or disabilities, that's too. Yep.
That's probably why my account has been throttled.
Well, to be fair, Sam, in your case, it's not as it's not as visual, so maybe not. But like, if somebody, like, for example, has Down syndrome and it's like visible, they will immediately flag that channel.
Or is a visible cripple like fucking Ricky Berwick?
Yeah, something like that. Whereas, like, they see you from the bust of you, they might not know, right?
Right.
You talking about TikTok?
Yeah, TikTok.
They did that too if you were fat.
Yeah, fat. We knew. We said that. We said fat and people they don't think are attractive, but also disabled people. But I said, like, they might not know with Sam right away. Usually what they're talking about with that is like visual disabilities, because because China can say the things that a lot of Americans can't, okay? And China will say the truth about this is that they just don't get as many views. It's not good for business to promote ugly people. That's what and it's honest on their part, right? That's true. But it's not very fucking nice. It's not very fucking fair. And of course people are going to feel slighted by that. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
They don't want anybody digging into all that, right? So they're just going to shut the fucking thing down.
Yeah,
There's already been multiple buyers lined up who are willing to overpay for TikTok, probably because they wanted to dig through the back end. But yeah, they're not selling.
Listen, even if
Bitly or whatever, they refuse to sell. So
listen, even if YouTube got shut down, like not even necessarily bought out, but even if they got shut down and there was allowed for like more competition between like other streaming platforms like Rumble and like, let's just say Odyssey for example, right? Pick any of the other platforms that are not YouTube to compete. That would still be great, if like there was actual like competition.
People got to start turning YouTube off, or that's never going to happen. And that's kind of hard because there's a lot of things that you can really only like look at on YouTube, for example. Like if I were to go and want to say fix my dryer, this is a thing I had recently where I had to fix a dryer. I have no idea about that kind of stuff. If I go on Rumble, Kick, or any of these other sites and I search how to do that, I'm not going to find a video tutorial. There's nobody there doing that.
Right.
But on YouTube, I'm going to find 20 of them. And so it makes it very difficult to cut YouTube out when it's so fucking useful. But the only way any change is going to happen is if people stop tuning it in.
Yeah. No, I know. And to be clear, like, I believe me, I'm going through the same thing, Max. Like, I look at YouTube every day for, it bugs me. There are content creators that I do go look at where I do double check to see if they have like a Rumble account, and to be fair, like if they do have a Rumble account, I do subscribe and tend to watch their videos over there instead. So like I actually do watch Rumble content a lot more for the people who do have Rumble channels. But
there's just so many genres of content that you might want to watch, need to watch for a different reason or whatever.
yeah,
that are only on YouTube because it's the mainstream site. And yeah, it's tough. I don't know how we extricate ourselves from it. I know that part of like what we're doing here is like providing quality content on another. I hope it's quality content on another platform besides YouTube. That's helpful, I think, for the economy. But
well, that is also why I put all the live streams and the pre-record podcast on Spotify as well. And I mentioned on the Sandwich Makers that we did the Spotify Wrapped, and we've had like 40% audience growth just on Spotify alone, and that's great. And we really appreciate everyone for tuning in over there.
Spotify, I got to give them extra credit just because they have been resistant to the kind of censorship that a lot of the rest of the media was about.
Oh yeah,
and it feels like they finally have weathered the storm of that kind of shit. Right now, they're settled in where Joe Rogan is like the money they paid him is already paying off for them. My God, the Trump stuff alone on Joe Rogan probably paid for what Spotify paid Joe Rogan in just in terms of pure exposure.
Yeah.
That's great. But another thing is, whereas iTunes has been actively censoring a lot of artists, particularly, as you know, Sam, I have a lot of underground hip hop friends that have been censored by the iTunes platform and Apple Music and all that, who have never had the slightest issue with Spotify.
Yeah.
Spotify just doesn't believe in censorship as a general rule, and that includes words that are like, I listen to words all the songs all the time that have slurs in them, or different, like it's Spotify just not about censoring artists, where Apple definitely is. Particularly political artists have been censored the last year by Apple. Fagagio Blow famously had a #1 record everywhere except iTunes, where he was banned.
Well, what's interesting is that like Joe Rogan is the #1 podcast on Spotify, but someone pointed out that Tucker Carlson, who doesn't even have like a contract with Rumble or Spotify, as far as I'm aware, he's #2 on Spotify.
Yeah, he has a non-exclusive deal essentially.
Yeah.
He has the same deal you do, actually.
The top ranking conservative podcast on iTunes is Ben Shapiro, which is I'm not knocking Ben, but Ben is kind of like the safe, I guess like the safest corporate conservative now, kind of, which is funny considering who his mentor was. So
yeah, it's interesting to see the bigger grifters and how I say grifters because I'm a dickhead. But Ben Shapiro, I mean, come on. But it's interesting to see how these bigger conservative commentators fall on that spectrum, because like iTunes is actively censoring conservative content very openly, and how many of these motherfuckers still use Apple products? They still try to put their shit on there. They use an Apple phone, and like, bro, Apple hates you. Apple hates you. They want no part of you. They don't want your business, but they'll take your money because you're stupid enough to give it to them, but they hate you.
Yeah.
Don't give your money to people that fucking hate you.
Right. Well, politically, especially if you're a Trump voter or even considered voting for Trump, or let's just say you just didn't vote for Kamala, Apple hates you.
Yeah. Well,
for multiple reasons, by the way, not just political ones, but Kamala would have favored them with all kinds of fucking business deals as well.
Oh yeah, well
Whereas Trump was very hard on Apple when he was president. So yeah, they hate Trump. They hate his voters. They're a very left-wing organization. They're banning music that doesn't even swear, but it's pro-Trump. That gets banned. So
Yeah.
you can see quite clearly where Apple stands in all of this. I find it disgusting, but it just goes to show I've been right about Apple for fucking 40 years. Fuck Apple. People are like, yeah, but their stuff's easy to use, and it's like, that's a small price to pay for your soul, I guess.
Well, they're not the ones manufacturing my wheelchair, so I will say
I
that.
hope not. They'd get rid of the headphone jack. They'd
make
it use lightning charging or some shit.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
I just love, like, they were like, no, we can't do USB Type-C like everybody else. Let's do USB Type-C, but, like, just flip it inside out. And make it proprietary to our crappy phones made by slave labor.
Yeah, well, that's, to be fair, that is Samsung too, though.
No, because Samsung doesn't make them in fucking China, bro. So they're actually paid employees, not Uyghur Muslims working in a work camp.
Well, I'm talking about Foxconn, which
Samsung hasn't used Foxconn in almost a decade.
Really, I thought they still used
ISPC,
Foxconn.
which is in Taiwan. Which is why China wants Taiwan, right? It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
No. Samsung. I could point out a million problems with Samsung too, but I will say that they don't use slave labor.
Yeah. Well, I have an iPhone, but I also do have I have a cheap Galaxy here that
No, it actually sucks because I'm shitting on them, right? But iPhones aren't a bad device. It's just like all the bad you're taking in with the Apple company, and of course they make you sign on not just to have a phone, right? They want you to be like part of their Apple culture.
Right.
And then it's like, but your Apple culture is premised on slave labor, so maybe I don't want to be part. Can I just get the phone? No, I have to have an Apple lifestyle too. Good Lord. That's why people like Samsungs, Sam. Is they're not requiring you to have a fucking lifestyle of a hipster to have a Samsung phone.
Yeah, I get it. So
I'm getting those dirty looks again though, because I'm bashing iPhones. We should move on.
Yeah, no. See, I'm the Apple guy, and I'm being nice to you. I'm. Oh God. I'm not. I'm being nice to you, Max. Ugh.
I don't know.
So. Uh-oh.
Application error.
Yeah, that happened to me while you were grabbing your sign. I have no idea why Rumble does that, but apparently that's their new thing now. But hey, at least Studio.
Yeah, she's right. It's because we were talking Apple, and so now Tim Cook is trying to shut us down because we're speaking the truth to power, man.
Okay, so that wasn't just me then.
No, we've all gotten the application error. Maxine got like the application error 3 times.
The application error. See, it's them trying. I'm telling you, Sam.
Oh damn! That was actually almost. That's gonna get clipped. That was almost like that one was head on. Did you see that more? Did you see that more? That's gonna get like. That's gonna get clipped.
This just in: Apple makes fine products and would never do anything untoward or hurt anybody, especially me. Good. Okay now.
Uh-huh.
I get to live.
It's okay to have Apple as your master.
Anyway, speaking of the sandwich makers, what are the sandwich makers doing this weekend?
Making sandwiches.
And are they talking about Dr. Killbaby this week?
I don't know. It doesn't seem like they were big fans of Dr. Killbaby.
Well,
He brought it up.
yeah. Yeah, no, that is true. I actually did bring up Dr. Killbaby this time because Max was about ready to explain to you like what happened to Dr. Killbaby, but then he got like almost knocked in.
Well, you see, he invited me in. He said, I'm going to teach you how to perform an abortion. And I said, sir.
You know what? Even with all those cans,
it's like they're like toys of like plastic.
Okay, even with all, I was gonna make the joke. Even with all those plastic things, it's still less cluttered than Ethan Ralph's setup, where it was surrounded by bottles.
Oh yeah, no, especially I just cleaned. See, my basement's all fucking.
Yeah,
that's why I was doing last week while you were hobnobbing with Eric Bishop. I was cleaning my basement because I had to. That was not fun. I did find my sign.
Yeah, which is very cool.
And we got rid of a lot of crap. You know, you get a lot of crap in your basement when you're storing stuff. And I was like, let's just go through it then. Let's just do it right. And I thought, yeah, that's a good idea. And then I got started doing it and realized, what am I, fucking retarded?
Well, according to you on the show, yes, maybe.
Yes, well, that's why I continued to do the project this way, you see, because I am obviously a retard and a glutton.
You are king retard.
But I got it done. And I walked and I'm sick and I'm having a wonderful time, Sam. It's been a fucking great fucking month.
No, it has been.
And it's only the fucking 12th now. Oh, good lord. Yeah,
I can't tell if you're being completely sarcastic or like if you're. I can't tell if it's sarcasm or if you're actually having a good month or if it's a bit of both.
No, it's been a misery. It's honestly, Sam, it's been one of the hardest years of my life since the summertime, and I'm running real ragged these days. But such is the life of being a dad.
There is one thing that I wanted to say, although there's not much to say other than did you fellas see that Christopher Ray resigned?
I literally just saw that. More, I think, because you like retweeted it or some.
I did see that. Of course he resigned because he was going to get fired in a month and a half.
Did you Did you see that the Kraz? I think your boy Brian Krasstein let some info slip today. More.
Oh really? What do you say?
Well, Biden should pardon Liz Cheney in advance, and
I think he said Biden should pardon Liz Cheney, fucking Fauci, a bunch of other people in advance.
Dude, I fucking dare you, dude. Like they get away with the Hunter Biden pardon with a lot of backlash, but they'll get away with it if they pardon Fauci. I actually think that's the best case scenario, to be honest with you. And here's why. He's never actually going to be punished anyway, but then it just tarnishes the Democrats by doing that completely going forward. So go ahead and pardon Fauci. He wasn't going to jail anyway, I guarantee it.
Because he's too old.
Yeah, he's too old, and quite frankly, Trump's not even going to bother with fucking the prosecution of him. We're making America great again, and like by the time you prosecuted him, he's going to die. Fuck it.
Well, here's
let them pardon him and let them take all the political flack that comes with it. I fucking dare them.
Here's my question. Okay, Hunter, I understand, and Fauci, I can understand. Here would be my question for Brian. Not that he's ever gonna, listen to this, but what does Liz Cheney need to be pardoned for? Exactly?
Because they're going back to the claim of that Trump threatened her. I guarantee that's what it is. They're saying that he threatened her with a firing squad, which he did not.
It's that whole thing.
Right. He never said firing squad. He talked about she's a warmonger and what would she feel like if she was in the war. But they still consider that him saying he's going to prosecute her and execute her. So they're saying to pardon her so that Trump can't do something that is clearly not going to happen. I mean, that's absurd. Like, to even suggest that is silly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see them throwing a pardon for her. And actually, they probably wouldn't even catch much flack for that one. I'm telling you, though, the Fauci one, they'll catch flack for. Not just from Republicans, by the way.
Yeah.
A lot of the left doesn't think it's okay that he should get away with some of the things that he did. So.
Oh yeah, no. Well, like especially like there are a lot of gay people. There are a lot of gay people who I'm not even saying this. I'm not even saying this in like a joking fashion. There are a lot of gay people who have been forced into the closet over like what.
Gay people and Fauci have had a very contentious relationship since the 80s because he was a denier of HIV.
Yeah.
And also he promoted the monkeypox thing, right? Which was actually a very small little tiny outbreak among a homosexual community where it's more likely to happen for various reasons. And he made it into like there was this big pandemic. I've talked to gay people that didn't like that at all either.
Right.
And so, yeah, they've had a very contentious history with Dr. Fauci in his tenure, but particularly in the 80s and early 90s. He was one of the people that promoted the idea of grids as opposed to AIDS. Do you know what grids is?
I knew what it was. Yeah,
it's
gay something.
It's gay-related immunodisease or disorder, which is what they called AIDS before they called it AIDS. Because at first they thought only gay people could get it.
Right.
So they called it gay-related. It wasn't meant to be like offensive or anything like that. It was literally gay-related because it's...
Right, yeah.
But then they discovered that there were straight people getting it through blood transfusions, through sharing needles, and through sex as well. So they realized, okay, it's not a gay-related disorder. It's an autoimmune disorder. So that's where it's AIDS now, rather than grids. Dr. Fauci was a big supporter of the grids theory, that it was a gay-related disease and that it should be treated as such. So that's why a lot of old school gay guys, they don't like Fauci, and they didn't like Fauci long before the pandemic happened.
Yeah, no, and so Fauci being, Fauci being prosecuted would be like one of those, like handshake moments between the, you've seen the meme of like the left and the right like shaking hands, and then in the middle it's like hating Fauci or something like that.
Certainly there's a large contingent on the left that would like to see him prosecuted, but it's not going to happen no matter what happens. And that's why I actually don't think Biden will pardon Fauci specifically because of the backlash and because he knows, Biden or his people, exactly what I'm saying, that Fauci's never actually going to be held to account in a court of law. It's just not going to happen. I know people don't want to hear that, but it's not going to happen.
No, you're right. So
The time they take to get a grand jury, then the time they take to convene the grand jury, then the time they take to fucking indict him, then the time they take to do pretrial hearings, and he's going to have lawyers who are going to fight and file every motion in court. You're talking 5 to 10 years before you even see a trial. The man's in his 80s. It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
You could see the prosecution through to the end. I'm not saying, like, if people think that they could do it, I'm not saying don't try. I'm just saying it's unlikely to ever occur. Except posthumously, that we could convict him after he's dead, maybe. But what good is that?
Right.
You can't, because of that too. Because of American law, it's not like we can charge his kids. You know what I mean? So if he dies, we can't really charge anybody with his crimes, and that's that. Right. So I just don't think. I think he's just gonna fuck off and go retire as an old man somewhere and basically get away with everything he did. And I think that as mad as that might make us, we really do need to kind of just dust up and move on.
Yeah, well, that would be the best. That would be the best.
And for the damage that he caused, we can still hold somebody to account that I think people are forgetting, and that's the government, who allowed him to make those decisions without any pushback.
Oh, absolutely.
So where the COVID war is not over yet. And again, another thing I will point out that a lot of lefties will even say about Fauci is that they disagree, maybe not with the lockdowns, maybe not even with the masking, but with the returning of children to school with masks. A lot of lefties are super mad about that.
Well, and right.
I am too. I think that it was completely wrong.
Kids to the school with masks, but allow fucking Obama to have his fucking birthday party with nothing.
Well, and now 3-4 years later, we're seeing the results of that. Is that the verbal scores of all those kids from the mask generation are lower, particularly when they started in like, think about this, Sam. Some kids, mine was one of them, went into their first year of school masked. Their first year of school.
That's
my son was one of them.
Yeah, that's why. That's wild, but that is
technically
right.
Technically, his first year of school was just canceled because of the lockdown, and then his first year of school then was masked up from September until March.
Yeah.
So the whole year, basically, because school ends in June, right, or the end of May for kindergarten. So there's a whole generation of preschool, kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth grade that were masked for a whole year. And wouldn't you know it, now that we've done standardized testing for a couple of years, wouldn't you know, they all have lower verbal, all of them, across the board. It's a trend. It's not just a few kids. So yeah, I think that is a huge deal. That is a Fauci decision. Do I think he should be prosecuted for that? I just don't think it's practical. Yes, he should, but I don't think it's going to happen. But what we can do is hold school officials responsible. We can hold our states responsible. There's a lot of people that you can. The problem is most people don't want to do the work. They just want somebody else to come in and prosecute Fauci and fix everything. And unfortunately, prosecuting Fauci, even if it were possible, even if it were likely, is not going to fix these problems.
Yeah.
Those kids still had that year of masking, right? You could kill Fauci. It wouldn't fix that. It wouldn't undo that.
Yeah,
nothing you can do to him fixes that. But what we can do to at least mitigate it is help those kids. Rather than spend our efforts on Fauci, we should be helping the kids that are affected by it.
Yeah, not only that, but actually learn from the past, and
also never accept a lockdown is the lesson. Never ever again. They ever try that again, if I'm still alive, and I'm going to actively defy it and probably even get arrested.
Yeah, same here. I don't care.
I thought maybe last time I was like, maybe I shouldn't get myself arrested. If they ever did it again, seeing how long that went on and how far they went, it ain't going that way.
Honestly, Max, I don't think you and I are alone in that boat either.
No, I think the majority is. I think if they tried this again, most people would just say no.
I think and I think that's real what happened too. Is I think a lot of like normies got like quote unquote red pilled, and even to some extent black pilled because of you know uh
A lot of them
you know
thought that
that.
once the election was
So
over, things would have turned around quickly, and then it didn't.
no,
It got worse.
Yeah.
I thought if we get rid of Orange Man, everything goes back to normal.
And it's funny because a large segment of those particular voters turned around and voted for Trump this time.
Yeah, absolutely.
They thought Biden, if we just get the Biden in here, then they'll calm everything down and the Orange Man. But it didn't happen that way. And those people are like, they remembered that. They came back 4 years later, they voted differently.
Yep. And I think the Dems are really gonna have a really hard time. I think even in 28, I think things are changing,
They
man.
need to rebuild now with a new idea, or they're done, right? For a long time, they're going to be down and out for a couple election cycles if they don't start a rebuilding process now around a different foundational ideology than fucking diversity. They have to. They're just going to continue to dwindle their voting base if they continue this path. Because you see even people like Cenk Uygur and stuff turning on, Anna Kasparian, like the left isn't with it no more. They don't have the populist left. The populist left is more likely to agree with us.
Yeah. I'm actually glad that you brought that up because I don't want to, I want to wrap up the show here soon, but I did see, I don't have clips of it, but I did see that Anna Kasparian actually went on the Glenn Beck program. And that's actually pretty significant because if you know anything about Glenn Beck and you know anything about the Young Turks, Anna Kasparian used to specifically just go on unhinged rants about Glenn Beck, and she said that she would never ever talk to Glenn Beck as long as she lived, and yet now.
Well, look, man, that happens when a woman gets sexually assaulted and then the left calls her the fucking villain.
Right. No,
I can't, I heard the story and I shared the video of her talking with my wife too. And she couldn't believe that this woman was literally sexually assaulted by a homeless man and said, we need to do something about the homelessness problem. And they're like, you evil bitch.
Right.
Like, the fuck? Dude, even if you want to have the sympathy and the empathy for the homeless guy who may or may not be on substances, he may or may not be mentally ill, that's fine, but he still sexually assaulted a woman in a public street in broad daylight.
I think that's the other thing a lot of people are missing is that Anna Kasparian actually was sympathetic towards towards the homeless man. But it doesn't really matter.
But she could be sympathetic towards him and still feel fucking violated by it, and then still feel double violated by the people she thought were on her side saying she's the bad guy for being victimized. That's, of course, that fucked with her worldview, right?
Yeah.
I can't believe they're surprised that would fuck with her worldview. She doesn't feel safe in her own town. That'll fuck with a lot of people. That's why a lot of people are coming to these conclusions. A lot of people are voting for Trump because they don't feel safe in their own town. Let's be real.
Yeah, 2024 was a big, realignment for a lot of people. Just to put it mildly, but anyway, Max, I think that unless you guys have anything, left to cover, I think that just about wraps it up.
Real quick, I will be putting together the invitations this week for the White Christmas for Autism. It's going to be the 20th, Friday night.
Yes.
And I hope, of course, to see all of you there. Sam will, of course, be with us, and hopefully everybody from RTO will at least make an appearance. But we're going to also get guests, and we're going to try and raise some money for the Autism Society, which helps autistic children and does a lot of great research.
Indeed. And also, we will also be asking if if people can't make it in person, we will be asking as many guests as we can who have appeared on this program to at least make a short video. I'm
going to try and call in some favors. We're going to have a good, big event, and hopefully raise some good money to help out these autistic kids, because that's what really matters, I think.
Indeed. I'm actually working on a background. The one behind me, I'm doing a Christmas theme for the sign, so that should be pretty good. And I'll have my Santa hat as well. So
you'll have it.
That'll be nice.
You'll definitely have it. That's good.
And looking forward to it. And
yours will probably fit your head, right? Because mine, as you can kind of tell,
yours fits better than my old one did. So, but anyway, folks, we'll talk to you later. And thanks for tuning in. Bits and Bones this week, Mort?
Yep, Bits and Bones, 10 p.m. EST Sunday night.
Alrighty.
Gaming has been interesting so far this week.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even do anything, and I'm getting stuff thrown at me now, Sam.
Again, you can buy the Shadows of.
You just got blood loss. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You can buy the Shadows of Deception, complete series in hardcover now. Paperbacks, audiobooks available as in all format, along with Blood Ties as well. Please buy it, and buy one for your wife too, so she won't, throw things at you. It would also make
Sam, because then she could throw the book. It's a hardcover.
Oh yeah, she could literally throw the book at you, I suppose. So, but anyway, yeah, go and buy my books and help an indie author out during the holidays. And thanks for everything, folks, and we'll talk to you down the line.
I got spooned.
The right to offend is not some pesky little part of freedom of speech that we have to put up with. It is the heart and soul and lungs of freedom of speech. It is the coursing lifeblood of human progress. It is the instigator of liberty and modernity and science and understanding. What a laughing stock today's student leaders are, that they can so casually dismiss the right to be offensive without realizing that their lovely, enlightened lives are the gift of individuals who gave offense. Offensiveness is not just something we have to begrudgingly accept. Offensiveness is the motor of human progress.
Thank you for watching the Whitfield Report live on the Right to Offend Media Network. Make sure to check out Sam's books on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. You can follow Sam on X at SamW_NGC and the Right to Offend Media Network at RTO Media. Like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. And until next time, God bless, God save this great nation. God, freedom, legacy, in that order.